Around Nagasaki, the second one wasn't the primary target. Hiroshima was the primary target.
Right. Okay.
I think it was Nagasaki that they did a diversion.
Okay. Anyway, are there people in the chat? Is this?
Yes, but
yeah.
Heroes.
We've got 11 watching at the moment, so they're making their way
Yay.
over. They won't make their way back.
Around I did leave a message. The second one wasn't the primary target. Hiroshima was the primary target.
Right.
There you go.
Okay.
I think it was Nagasaki that they did a diversion. Who hasn't muted the YouTube?
I don't know who that would be. Got no idea. Anyway, what are we talking about?
That would be Terry then.
Terry.
Nope, they're coming back. I can see a few extras.
Yeah, they're getting there. Ah, yes, Nagasaki was the backup. They were supposed to be bombing Kokura.
Oh, just raining.
Right, where were we before we were rudely interrupted? Oh, that's right. We're going through a couple of navigators to see what we'd get.
We were working out. So Francis Drake was the third expedition.
Did anyone Google a list of all these guys so we could share that?
Yes, I did.
Than try to. You can share it if you want, or give us the link, or
okay.
Either.
I can. If you just. Sorry, I'll just copy it and drop it in the Discord chat.
No, not in Discord. Internal group chat in the Zoom.
Internal group chat. Okay.
Or just share your screen and show us.
Okay.
Either. Share screen or post link.
Either or.
I just shared it in the chat, I think.
Yeah, you got it. I got it.
Oh, that. I was just hoping we could make Farmer's computer go crazy again.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Thank you, mate. Yeah.
We had a plan.
Not nice that you're thinking of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, all right.
So at least you typed in list of circumnavigation, not list of circumcisions. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. We don't want to know about the first circumcision, Terry.
Yeah, okay, 16th century.
Yes, that's right.
So we've got Magellan.
Yep.
I haven't heard of the other guy.
No, as I say, none of his ships made it back, and only 4 of his crew.
Okay, 5 ships, 270 men.
Yeah. Of which 1 ship and 18 men made it back.
He was killed in Philippines.
Yep.
1521. Okay. We don't know that guy. I haven't heard of that guy before.
No, nor have I. But I guessed that Drake was the third, and I was right.
So. Yeah. Now we got the map of who, what, where, when.
Well, we've got a few.
There's usually a map that shows the paths of each navigator.
Well, I think if you click on the navigator, it'll be. If you click on Francis Drake, for instance, Francis Drake's is a weird one because it was dictated by military necessity. He'd gone around to do some raids on the east coast, and decided that he'd get at Oregon, Dunes, and Cape Mendocino. Those were raids on Spanish settlements, and then he decided that if he was going to go back through the Atlantic, the Spanish would be looking for him and they'd be able to easily intercept him. So his way home turned out to be go across the Pacific.
I thought he went down the west coast of Australia, or have I got the wrong guy?
You've got the wrong guy.
I've got the wrong guy. Okay, I've got to find the right guy, because I know there was someone who found the west coast of Australia back then.
Cook? No.
It was like
Cook,
the
no,
Dutch,
Cook
wasn't
was
it? Like Dirk
No, it wasn't
Hartog or
Cook.
something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't Cook. Dirk
there was
Hartog.
Dirk Hartog. Yes,
Dirk Hartog. Okay.
there's some contention about yeah. I heard my own voice.
Oh, that's Alan.
I hear it again. That's Alan, is it?
It was coming through Alan's.
Okay, somebody's changed their two people. They've changed their avatar.
Oh no, Paul! Why do you got to do that to me? I've got no. This guy looks too old. I don't think I'm going to get that guy.
A new stream. I thought you need a new guy.
Okay.
Okay. So
I'm not changing mine.
Is that Hallie? No. Probably not.
No.
Death wants to know, you want the bloke who circumcised Australia.
No one. We're all complete pricks here.
Oh, I see what you
Speak
did
for
there.
yourself.
So, what's the success of the Panama isothermus or something?
So he went on a military raid, right? So he was raiding Spanish settlements on the west coast of the Americas here, and in particular the Panama Isthmus. So he was raiding wealthy Spanish settlements that weren't expecting to be hit by naval raids. Because they didn't share an ocean with what they regarded as a hostile party. So having sort of successfully raided a bunch of settlements on the east coast, he decided that he had to go back via the. He had to basically complete the circumnavigation in order to avoid being intercepted. Or at least that's the story I heard.
That's what Wikipedia says. Willem Janssen.
Jensen?
Sorry, Dora. Dutch.
Yep.
No, not Jensen then.
Janssen.
Not Jensen Button.
Nah.
Or as became known in our household, Bunsen. Go on, Bunsen.
Right, back to the
Because
list.
that's when it was our local team, because that was pre-Mercedes, who are of course just opposite Tesco's in Brackley.
So we've got nothing before 16.
Your local Tesco's.
Well, it was.
No, Terry. There's nothing before the 16th century because nobody circumnavigated the globe before the 16th century, or at least nobody that has been recorded by history.
Nobody of any worth, anyway. You know.
Well, what I want is anyone that's done any exploring at all, besides the ones that have done the circumnavigating. I'll have to Google that.
Well, I mean, you can look up Leif Erikson.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Vikings.
They think he made it all the way to Newfoundland, don't they?
Yeah.
I do. Well, they've got evidence of Viking settlements in Newfoundland. So that's indisputable. Whether or not they're associated with Leif Erikson.
Somebody wrote a book about that. Who was it?
Lanso Meadows, that's the name of the site. So Lansaux, Meadows, Meadows. Lanso Meadows is the archaeological site.
Okay, I've got a bit of a list here.
Yeah, Vasco da Gama.
Oh, okay.
Leif Erikson.
Yep, I got him here. Circa 1000, Leif Erikson, Norse, likely first European to Newfoundland. Next we got on the list, it jumps to the 1400s, Prince Henry the Navigator, Portugal.
Yep.
Offers training in navigation and cartography. Then we've got 1431, Gonzalo Gabriel, Portugal discovered Azores. 1440s has just got various. Portugal, exploration along the West African coast, slave trade. Oh, 1453, fall of Constantinople.
Do you know what famous historical figure was at the fall of Constantinople?
Oh.
As a prisoner of the Ottoman Empire.
1453. No.
Vlad Tepes or Vlad Dracul.
Vlad the Impaler.
Vlad the Impaler.
Oh, Vlad the Impaler.
Was that
Vlad, let me just sharpen this stick.
Yes, that Vlad. He was at the fall of Constantinople. He was
Hold
at the
still.
time.
This might smart a bit.
This might sting more than perhaps a little. Yes, that Vlad.
Yes.
He was at the fall of Constantinople. There you go.
Wow. This will hurt
Okay,
you
this
more
guy
than
in
it hurts me.
1487 reached
Yep.
Cape of Good Hope. So he sailed all the way down there.
Yep.
First voyage for Columbus was to Spain.
Yeah. It's interesting that we reached the Americas about the same time we reached the bottom of Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah,
almost.
This one here. Okay, 1494. Division of New World between Spain and Portugal.
Apart from maybe the British might decide to argue about that one.
Yeah, what about this one? John Cabot, England. To Newfoundland,
Yes, to
English
Newfoundland.
claims to North America.
Yes.
Okay, this guy in 1497 rounds Africa to India. Yep, he got it.
Vasco da
He
Gama.
made it.
Very
he made
famous.
it all the way around.
Yeah. Remember reading about him at school.
Yeah.
Okay, 1497.
Amerigo Vespucci, after whom the Americas are named.
Are we noticing a theme with the names? Not besides Christopher Columbus. Yeah. These
Spanish
guys.
and Portuguese.
Yeah.
I had lots of money.
Ponce de Leon was searching for the Fountain of Youth.
Oh yes, poor old Ponce.
May have wiped out the Mississippian culture with smallpox. But,
yes.
Yeah.
What did he mean he crossed Panama to Pacific Ocean? Well, he actually went across land, and then
he went across land. So he was the first European explorer to see the Pacific from land.
Magellan.
Ferdinand Magellan. Yep.
Oof.
I got his hat says Noah's Ark was found on top of Mount Ararat. Just so you know.
Yeah. No, it wasn't.
No.
It says completed by crew. What? He didn't make it.
He didn't make it. He got killed in the Philippines. Remember?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy conquered Aztecs into Mexico.
That's
Hernan Cortez. Yes. Moderately famous, along with Pizarro.
I think his statue might be coming down.
The Aztecs didn't last very long.
Another statue is going to come down.
It's hard to sympathize with the Aztecs, though. I will. You look back and you go, okay, being conquered by the Spaniards, being ravaged by smallpox, cultural imperialism, that's all bad stuff. But then you look at what the Aztec Empire was. And they were sacrificing 20,000 people a year by cutting their hearts out. And you go, maybe you aren't the good guys if you're doing that. Maybe there are bad guys on both sides of this equation. Just my personal perspective.
But that just shows you what civilizations can do when they're isolated from anyone else.
Well, the Aztec Empire is the Aztec Empire was an empire. It's sort of we think about it as being isolated, but actually they conquered a bunch of empires that were around them, and that's where they were getting the 20,000 people to be sacrificed. They weren't sacrificing themselves; they were sacrificing people they'd conquered.
Yeah.
And there's a hypothesis that even if the Spanish hadn't turned up, the Aztecs weren't going to last more than a few more decades.
This guy tried to find the Northwest Passage. Is that the Northwest Passage across the top of the globe?
Yeah, that's across the top of America that a lot of people died trying to find.
Trying to think they could get around that way. Yep.
Yep.
Well, you kind of can now.
Oh, now you can.
You kind of can now. Do you know who the first person to sail through the Northwest Passage was?
No.
No.
Roald Amundsen.
Oh.
I was going to say, I know that actually in the first half of the 20th century, it was open most of the time.
Well, he took 3 years to do it. So it wasn't that easy when he did it, but yeah.
Sorry, I should have corrected that. It was open enough that it became an issue having to put a lot of ships up there to guard it during the Second World War, because I think one of the things they were worried about was because it was open enough, submarines.
Yeah.
Because it could be open enough for submarines to operate, because of course they can get under
sea ice, yeah.
Especially if it's only thin sea ice.
Well, of course, the Germans are up there a lot anyway, setting up their remote weather stations, weren't
they? Where's Carolina?
The Carolinas, the North and South Carolina. There's states now, so they're kind of halfway up. They're above Georgia. They're coastal settlements, about halfway up the east coast.
Yeah, sort of south of Washington, D.C.
We've got another Spanish guy that conquered the Incas in Peru.
Yep, in Peru.
Okay, what's this guy do? Jacques Cartier, France.
The Gulf of St. Lawrence, which is the valley that ends in the Niagara Falls.
Wow.
So
that's the French claim to North America. That's when
so Quebec and and that sort of place ultimately derived from his exploration efforts.
So this guy in 1539, he went southeastern and Mississippi River. Okay.
Yeah, I think I may have been confused earlier. I think this is the guy who probably did for the Mississippian culture. DeSoto with the because there was actually quite a sophisticated culture in the Mississippi. There was they had cities, they had buildings, and they seem to have died out very, very abruptly.
So it looks like he sailed all the way through into there. California. He must have went around to get to California.
No, I'm not sure that he did. Maybe he did. Yeah.
I can't click on him. I've got no link.
Okay.
Saint Augustine. I don't know where that is.
I'm not sure what that is.
St. Augustine, that's a city in Florida.
Oh, okay.
On the Gulf Coast, Florida.
That would make sense, yeah.
Oh, okay. We do have an Englishman. He searched for
Yeah,
the
we'll have a
Northwest
few
Passage.
of them coming up.
Drake, English first English circumnavigator.
Yep.
Lost colony, something that means.
Oh,
So
the English lost
Roanoke,
colony at Roanoke.
Yeah. So Roanoke got set up, and they sort of sent back for some help, but by the time the help arrived, the colony was gone, and there was an enigmatic message about the Croatan engraved on a tree. And the Croatan may refer to a local Indian tribe, but it's still an unsolved historical mystery. Did they end up sort of moving out with the local Indians and interbreeding? Were they just killed? Did they die of starvation or disease? It's really unclear.
Yeah, many theories exist about the settlers' fate, but none has been fully substantiated. One view is that the colonists sought refuge with neighbouring Native Americans, probably the Coari tribe, and were absorbed through intermarriage. Others have argued that the settlers were wiped out by an attack from the Native Americans by an unusually violent storm. Recent scientific studies involving tree ring growth analysis indicate the existence of severe drought at that time, the worst in 100 years. Okay, so if they didn't know how to find fresh water, well, that would explain.
Yeah, they wouldn't have. It's sort of, they were dealing with an unfamiliar environment. They had no sort of backup food stocks. They may have, were they attacked by local Indians? Did the local Indians sort of take them in and look after them? It's there's a lot of wild speculation about what happened there.
I mean, even 20 years later, when they set up Jamestown, a little bit further north, they all very nearly died as well. They were very, very lucky.
That's right.
And I think that was actually a much bigger expedition stroke thing that set out to set Jamestown up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the first English circumnavigation from England, but everyone else was more concentrated on these settlements, New Mexico, New England coast, Great Lakes. They're all mainly local. None of the others seemed to want to go any further.
Well, they were going out there to settle. They were going out there to set up settlements. That was the whole thing, because that was how you made money.
A lot of the expensive, the wealthy Spanish settlements were on the islands in the Caribbean, anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'll have to do a bit more homework on that. Do some more homework. So once they found over in America to colonise there, that was it. It was only just that once they did that, then the other explorers thought, oh, well, if they're doing that over there, we'll, like later on, they started going further and further out.
Yeah. I mean, it's exactly right. And sort of we left off at my favourite and one of the most mysterious expeditions to find the Northwest Passage, which is the Franklin expedition that famously disappeared until recently. Now, thanks to climate change, we've found both of the ships. But yeah, that's the same Franklin that Mount Franklin is named after in Tasmania.
Oh,
he was the governor of Van Diemen's Land for a few years.
Yeah, there's a lot of different.
And there was there was a couple of expeditions that went out looking for Franklin that also disappeared, weren't there?
I don't think that they I don't think that they disappeared, but they did have a serious problem. They did discover serious problems with their supply chain. At that stage, the Royal Navy wasn't producing its own food. It was buying it under contract, and they discovered that the food that was being sold to them was widely spoiled and rotten, and and the tins had been sealed with arsenic rather than the tin that was supposed to be being used. And it was sort of that gave the impetus for the Royal Navy to start making their own supplies, making their own food, which they continued to do for a long time after.
Some of these conversations these peanut galleries are having, I've got no idea where it's come from. No name. They raped the horses, rode off on the women. Okay.
I'm going to say we need to be careful. I guess we need to be a little careful. We don't break the YouTube terms of service, because I have absolutely no idea what we were talking about yesterday that broke the YouTube terms of service. But
No idea.
Maybe it was the fact that you were talking about the YouTube terms of service.
No,
maybe.
My stream got stopped yesterday.
We were talking about events that happened in Europe in 1989 and 90.
Okay.
And boom, shut me down.
All right.
Boom,
Well,
yeah.
the rule 1 of Fight Club, I remind you, is don't talk about Fight Club.
Yeah.
So
just don't mention the war.
But they don't tell you why. They just said you broke terms of service, but they didn't say why. So I still don't know what we did. Wasn't me.
You don't strike me as the type of person that would do anything inappropriate, Pip.
No.
So.
Only the stories she reads.
Those are perfectly innocent. It's your interpretation of them.
Yeah.
You don't know her very well yet.
No.
Give it time.
Oh, dear.
She's as warped as the rest of us. Don't you
As
believe
warped
her
as the rest of
sweet,
us,
her
okay.
sweet, innocent voice, you know.
Okay.
I've never heard somebody swear so much on my Discord in all my life.
I do not.
Don't you worry, Pip. I won't believe a word said against you.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
No.
Bloody creep.
Oh, well, we're coming on to an hour and a half, so I guess you just know what time it is now. Oh,
Yeah,
Big
can we
Blue's,
guess,
Big Blue wants to come in. Wait a minute, I've got to make room.
Yes. Gravity's scientist.
Yeah, I've got to make room for Blue.
Carl, you got the last one. Can you guess who this is this time? Have a think. Okay. Carry on, sorry.
What on earth have you got here?
That's a coffee grinding machine.
Yeah, it's a coffee grinding machine. So something a little bit different today.
Okay.
It's a coffee mill. So you want to know how to use your newly purchased coffee mill.
Yes, please.
Attention, before the use should adjust rubs the bean machine. Coffee mill bean machine adjustment explanation. Grinds coffee powder the minute thickness. Centre. Thin 3 kinds. The user basis needs the degree. By adjusts the proglottis upward or moves to under. Upward is thick, under is thin. Moves to most under. When should keep 0.25 millimetre crack. Avoids rubbing the stick to increase or to catch. When adjusts the proglottis, adjustment to finish. Like the chart to install the screw on piece 2 and other fittings then works. Got it?
This sounds like a very...
Could you read this in English,
elaborate...
please, Paul? I can...
No, this sounds very much like the instructions from Silence of the Lambs. You know, rubs the lotion on its skin, or else it gets the hose again.
Yes.
Except that there is that use of the imperative. User basis needs the degree by adjust the proglottis.
Now,
I also like the use of the term proglottis.
I was just going to say, if you tried to use
that is an extreme.
If you get this coffee machine and we go word for word what it's saying, do you think we'd know how to use it by the end?
Well, it's lucky they've got a diagram, because I think you can only work it
diagram.
out by looking at the diagram.
Oh, thank you.
Put the beans in the bowl and turn the handle. Boom, there you go.
All right, next one. You know how they have
Security
the evacuation? Yeah, the security scattering sketch map. That's the map that you use to evacuate a building when there's a fire or something.
Oh,
You've got to scatter.
Yeah.
All right. And don't use the elevator.
Case of emergency or on fire.
Yeah. prohibition domestic animal controlment in preschool area. Excreta.
No,
The prohibition
What?
randomly throws trash along with the place.
Your dog is not allowed to crap in front of the school, and you're not allowed to randomly throw trash. But domestic and animal enrollment in preschool excreta really doesn't convey what's going on there. Yes.
I know. Notice, please do not carry explosive or articles easy to inflame with you. No smoking in cable car. Don't play, shake, and try to get out of it during ride. Don't space to litter.
Yeah,
Don't space to
Space
take
comma.
the ride.
Oh,
if you-
comma space. Sorry.
Yeah, space T. Don't space T take the ride if you are drunk, have high blood pressure, heart disease, or mental patient. Take it easy once the cable cars stop or something wrong with it during ride. Please allow the servant's advice.
Was this translated by a Yorkshireman? Yeah, don't take it to
Don't.
Right.
Don't.
Marguerite Carstairs,
So-
2008.
Yeah.
So if I have a mental patient, if I'm a psychiatrist and I have a mental patient, I should
not
not
allowed on.
take this ride.
No.
Okay.
No.
That's right. You
That
shouldn't.
mighty.
Yeah. Then we have Chinese Knot by Paleolithic Sonot. Promote the Han Dynasty to Chicago, then turned into this chronicle of adornment, craftsmanship. The man wearing jade, often to carry the Chinese knot adornment, but also has the Warring States bronze pattern of Chinese knot. Continues to the Qing dynasty. Is the Chinese knot really spread in the folk art when many friends to interior decoration between the individual with this is hard to read, with presents and ornaments in, oh, look at this, we've got a space comma.
Yay.
Yay. A group of love by Taiwan rope friends of art collection and research is because its appearance can represent delicate symmetry of the nation's history with the custom of Chinese traditional decoration and aesthetic ideas, so named Chinese knot.
Now, can you please explain to me what all that means?
Well,
Okay, so I can have a stab. I can have a stab at what they're saying there. So
Put some wool in with your cats.
They're talking about something called the Chinese knot, which was from Paleolithic, and its use was widened in the Han Dynasty, where it became a chronicle of adornment. Now, the man wearing jade, that's a reference to bureaucrats and officials because they carried jade. And they often had knotted rope coming from the chops, what are called jade chops, and so now the Warring States. That's actually a phase of Chinese history, and it should actually be capitalized. So they're talking about
picking on that now.
Well, I'm just saying that it's actually the name of a period of history,
Yeah, we know
which
that.
you might not necessarily put together just from looking at the words, and that it goes into the Qing dynasty where it really spread in folk art.
Yeah, but they put a capital
decoration.
But they did put a capital C for Chinese in Chicago.
Yes, I don't know what Chicago has to do with this entire story, to tell the truth. But you know, and you know, a lot of Taiwanese people like it because it's a traditional Chinese art. But that is glorious. That they have literally. It looks like, so if you look at the top, that bottom line, the last three characters there, that's Zhongguo, and I'm guessing that's not. So that's China not. So it looks like they've just gone through the characters there and just translated them one by one.
Literally
And
one
come
by
up with-
one without
Yeah,
having
literally
regard for
one
the
by
actual.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've not tried to sort of do a conceptual translation of this at all.
Well,
Yeah.
you've obviously
Okay,
haven't seen
next
our
one.
other
This is-
Chinese labels
Yeah.
that were shown last time.
This is a quick one. This is a quick one. Do you
Fuck
ever
you,
look at the
too.
list of? Do you ever look at the list of ingredients when you buy something?
I seen this the other
Apparently,
day.
apparently, 23.65% of this product is fuck the
Fuck
material.
the material.
I want to know what
Yeah.
chappy dish was.
Yeah.
Chappy.
Yeah. Drifting skills. Sit tightly while go on board. Care for each other while rowing the boat. Drift along the stream. No, the steam. Sorry. Drift along the steam while the boat
While the boat-
selects channel. Yeah. Sit and hold fast while the boat lashes the beach. Call for help unhurriedly while the boat turns over.
What? Unhurriedly? Well, we're not in a hurry.
Yeah. Incline to the bank while the boat is deep in water. Row left and right while the boat is stranded. Exchange for another one while the boat is broken. Laughing and screaming while the drifting is over.
Yeah, you exchange for another one while the boat is broken. Yeah, it's sinking. Excuse me, can I have another boat? This one's sinking.
Remember, when it's
Laughing.
sinking, you've got to call for help unhurriedly.
Oh yes,
Yes,
yes.
unhurriedly.
Excuse me.
Laughing,
Excuse me. I think we're
La-
sinking.
la-
I need help.
laughing and
Yeah.
screaming while the drifting is over sounds almost existential in its resonance with modern angst. That is poetry right there.
Yeah.
I don't even know what
we're
they're trying to say.
capsizing. Oh.
Laughing and screaming while the drifting is over.
And I don't know how you sit tightly.
Yeah.
Well,
I think you have to clench.
Yeah, clench
Oh,
your
yeah,
buttocks.
maybe buttocks.
Grip the seat with your bum.
Lever
but you
in.
have to
right.
sit while you're going on board.
All right, this is the one I've been promising. How to
Oh.
shape the men flaps.
Huh? What?
Do I really want to know this?
When you just bought respect and it is not easy to move hard, shape is applied to the side bedding. About 3 days are diagonally folded to the way below and binds firmly. You will come to put and never to have a pain in the god and the ear if you do like this.
That is one of the most disturbing pieces of prose I've ever experienced.
Yeah.
I have no
And I've
idea.
read a Lovecraft story, I'll have you know.
Don't you diss the Lovecraft?
Oh, he was a hack.
I wonder if this has got something to do with your sheets or something, because it says
I
side.
think
It
maybe
could
a
have,
buffet,
yeah.
A hospital corner.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But it
Yeah.
sounds almost, about 3 days are diagonally folded to the way below and binds firmly. That sounds like you've got, constipation.
Hmm.
Really, that sounds like you've got serious digestive trouble. Like
Yeah,
each of
but
these
have any of
sentences
you
is
ever
bringing
had a
together-
pain in the god?
yeah, that's right.
Pain in
And-
the god.
And how
And-
do you about 3 days are diagonally folded? How do you fold a day?
Oh, would that be classed
Have you
as
ever
a week?
seen it?
Well, I know. You get the
if you've
pain in
ever
the god
seen
because it lasts a
intestines-
weekend.
If you've ever seen intestines, there's no doubt that they're diagonally folded to the way below.
Ah.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so here you have manual guidance. Hand pressing flashlight.
Oh,
This is not too bad, this one. 2 pieces of built-in CR 2032 mercury batteries. The flashlight can automatically irradiate when using it. If not convenient to clasp, please use battery. If the battery is extinct, please replace a new one. Clasp fixed switch pushes the switch forward when the handle can be locked. Pushes the switch backward, then can make the flashlight work normally. When generating by hand, clasp please at first clasp softly, then make the clasp fast and tightly. Please do not clasp the flashlight tight at the initial stage of operation. If so, can make the flashlight out of order and make the flashlight issue abnormal sound.
Ow, you're hurting me.
Yeah.
I know exactly what they're talking about.
I do too. They're saying,
Yeah.
you know, that little handle you pull out of
Yep.
the wind-up torches.
Yep,
Don't
that's
be in
right.
a hurry to start it up, because if you do, you'll strip the plastic gears and it'll make a
Yep.
funny sound.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
All
So
right.
that was nowhere near as surreal as the other one.
No, that wasn't it. But this one here is very disturbing. Internet operating instruction. Formally, before get to the internet, please set first your address of IP for obtain the appearance automatically. Enter the online neighbor. I'll just pause there for a moment. Choose to belong to sex and with opposite should of the native net card conjunction.
What?
Native conjunction of right shot. The choice belong to sex finding out the agreement of internet TCP/IP. Double click the agreement of internet belonging to sex frame, choosing the automation to obtaining the address of IP and obtain the DNS server address. Assurance automatically. After the server address is certain, can immediately get to the internet formally.
Is this telling you how to get to a porn site?
I don't
Their
know.
Wi-Fi. It's just log
Well,
on to their Wi-Fi.
Is this at all similar to what was happening on your channel when it got shut down, Pip? 'Cause,
No.
I think I may have spotted the problem if this was the case.
It's like the Gin Sheet International sales, so it's a terrible.
Okay, this one's a nice quick one. The knife edge is sharp. Please be careful to use. This knife is not suitable for cutting the hard material. It will cause damage of knife edge. Please keep out of children.
Please keep out of children.
Yeah, you shouldn't put knives in children.
You shouldn't put knives in children.
No.
Yeah.
Of course not.
Unless they've really, really upset you, of course.
Yeah. The product design is used international popularly and is succinct, and the technique that the line is easy and smooth and possesses the beautiful to look at and fine and elegant feature. The product uses the qualified metal material, and the surface is spurted modeling technology processing with advanced static electricity, and possesses the strong, durable feature of resisted rustability. The metal lampshade does not have the classing harm and protection vision, and the normal use possesses the feature not become deformed perpetually. Product is completely as a result of 2,000 volts of high-handed shocks. No leakage of electricity and ensure safety. Voltage 200V is used. The biggest power, 40 watt, frequency 60 hertz.
Sure
There
that
you
wasn't
go.
screen grab from the bullshit
My
generator?
goodness.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's a lamp,
did
isn't it?
understand number 5.
Yeah.
And I think I actually know what they're trying to talk about in paragraph 2.
I think paragraph
powder
4
coating.
is I think in paragraph 4 they're trying to tell you that they've tested it to 2,000 volts and detected no shocks.
It's been pack tested to 2,000
Yeah.
volts,
Yeah.
which is what
Like
you would
that
expect
they-
to pack testing.
I like that they got product right, except for prod rut.
Yes,
Yeah.
prod rut. That's a
Yeah.
good
Yeah,
prod rut.
and I'm pretty sure number 2 was
Yeah.
saying that it was powder coated.
Yeah.
Oh, don't
This is
even
the
go
PV.
here.
This is the PVC mobile phone case of easy schlepping and more function. This case is made with import and defended radialization material, and the appearance is so beautiful.
No.
The main characteristic is easy schlepping. It can be hung up at the waist, hung up at the cervix, and free holding.
Oh,
Yeah, that's right. That's got to bring tears to your eyes,
Yeah,
right?
that's painful. That one.
Hang up at the waist. This case hang still button and high strength PC clip. The mobile phone can be hung up at the waist with the case, and it can be went around and around for 365 degrees. Hang up at the cervix. This case has high stretch and defended snap soft fiber sling. This sling will defend hurt to the cervix and defend breaking. There you go. A mobile phone
well,
case you can attach to your
Why do you
cervix.
have a mobile phone in your cervix?
I
Your phone's ringing. Ooh.
I am relieved. I am relieved to know that they have taken precautions against the cervix breaking under this sort of treatment. I'm
disappointed they don't have an attachment to hang it on your penis. I feel left out.
I would think that is so easy to arrange that you can do that yourself.
Well, isn't that what the high strength PC clip is for? So you can then spin it 360 degrees. Look at this.
Instructions for the tourist. The playground is for 3 to 13 years children to play. Parents should lead them to play, for their children's age is under 4. Take off the shoes before entering the naughty palace. Hand in your shoes to the administrator. Forbid to carry sharp things when playing, such as knife. Forbid quarrel and do some practical jokes when playing. When playing in the ball pool, the head should protrude from the spherical surface. The tourist can't throw with the balls. Obey the naughty palace's safe navigation. Forbid play from the tube with the head downward. Forbid stay long in the tube so as not to hinder other children's pass through. Forbid stool and urine spit everywhere. Spit in everywhere. Advocate using civilization language.
Okay.
Yeah. If the tourist has heart disease, infection, disease, psychosis disease, stupid disease, any disease, to forbid to play in it.
Are you a flat earther? No, you can't use this, sorry.
No, you're a flat earther, you can't use this. You've got stupid
Go on
disease.
to number 10.
Yeah, I know, I'm getting there. Forbid shooting at a close distance when playing with the gun and artillery.
But if you're far away, it's fair enough.
Yeah, not to permit the peer at gunpoint with your eyes. Not permit to touch with the flying saucer and the airplane. Forbid to carry edible and beverage in the naughty palace.
Naughty palace.
Okay.
That just conjures up a completely different image. The naughty palace.
It does, doesn't it?
I don't know what's going on in this naughty palace.
What do you suspect that this is?
A jumping castle or some sort, or
yes, Terry, that's what I thought too. Yeah.
Number 13. Before entering naughty palace, confirm what the safe word is.
I think it might actually be an amusement arcade.
I think it's a bouncy castle.
So
take the shoes off in on that.
One of those indoor play areas, isn't it? We had a local pub that used
a jungle gym thing.
Yeah.
But no flat earthers are allowed in those places.
No.
Co-locate.
Install and using. Co-locate the battery charge, but not place of sunny straightly. Set in less vibration and clean and dry place. Less of iron powder, dust and point. What? Put it in wateriness place, or touch the contact piece will arouse electric shock. Before electricize, before electricize, please clean the oxidian. The collect pile contact the red clamp of battery. Change with the anode of storage battery. That's all I've got of this one. There's no more to it.
I can't read it. I can't scroll up.
That was looking
Co-locate
like
is
that would be fun.
not a term I've encountered outside of
No.
mathematics textbooks. So
No. I think the best bit in that one is the less therabration.
Yes.
yes, the less
I have-
vibration.
I have actually seen co-locate used in quite a few RAF manuals in the past.
Yeah. I've
Well,
got-
yeah, I mean, it's one of those weird words that is actually an English word, obviously. But it's got a very technical meaning, and
Yeah.
most English users don't
Wouldn't
use it.
use it.
So
No, that's right.
Yeah.
this is somebody who's gone to a thesaurus and said,
No,
you know,
no. This is somebody who's basically translating using a technical English dictionary.
It could be, yeah.
Because this is obviously for placing a battery and battery charger in something, and I would oddly enough, co-locate would be the word I would use.
Yeah.
Not
In fact,
Okay.
co-locate has been the word I've used in the past for exactly that.
Sorry about the clarity of this one, but
okay.
I'll read it for you. Okay. Depositor free, keep the general and smaller product for the customers that come this market. Valuables and cash, please take care of by oneself. Throw to lose all irresponsible. Lose the loss that result in because of the number card. This market is all irresponsible. The product of easy, burnable, explode and corrosible pleases not to take into the market. Please take back deposit the product before 22:30 at same day. Deposit the product cannot be take out of 3 days. It will be throw away by the market. Deposit the product throw to lose the tallest compensating RMB 100.
Okay.
That thing.
Items 1 and 7 are completely impenetrable to me.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're even trying to say. Like 2 through 6, yeah, I can see, you know, what they're trying to communicate. They've
I
done a
think
bad
number
job.
1 says we'll keep small and general items safe and free for you while you're in the market. So if you want to leave small general items with us, we'll keep them while you're in the market.
Could be that's a possible interpretation. I admire your ingenuity in coming up with that, but deposit the product throw to lose the tallest compensating RMB.
I think what they're saying there is if we have to throw away the product, you won't be compensated.
Okay. All right. Well, the highest, I think the highest compensation is 100 renminbi. So
yeah. Maybe that's what they're saying. If we have to throw it out, we'll only compensate you up to a value of. Yeah.
I think Paul's trying to say you're not allowed to take anything that's explodable or corrosible into the market.
Yeah. So 2 through 6, I think I can understand.
Yeah.
So I only got a vague image of why you leave stuff with the people in the market.
Yeah.
I got no idea.
Anyway.
Next.
All right. Only the bit at the bottom because you won't be able to read the top. And that.
I was trying to read the top bit.
It's just
please do more stomp on toilet. Please don't litter paper napkin wrapped in shoe thick toilet. Please press the water each time after a private task. Review your property neat and clean before leaving the bathroom. To end hygiene.
Yeah.
Okay. So
yeah.
As long as they're doing it all in, as long as it's between consenting adults, I don't really care.
Yeah. I think they want you to stomp on the toilet.
Yeah. Well, I say, consenting adults, they can do what.
Yeah.
That's I think to do with a certain large group of society who don't actually sit on toilets.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah.
I remember we had a problem at the RAF training camp that I did my training at, because they got a lot of trainees in from certain parts of the world, and basically they essentially ended up destroying all the toilets in the barrack block they put them in because they would insist on standing on them.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
So here we have some warnings for using a model helicopter, it looks like. The helicopter is while preparing flying off. Please pay attention to the fuselage of helicopter and ground is parallelism. When the helicopter takes off, appear the circumstance that turn. May be a air screw to loosen. Please get down to compress tightly fixed wreath. I have no idea what they're telling you to do there.
Well, if the helicopter is appearing to slowly spin, then that suggests that you've got a problem with the rear rotor, and you need to bring it down and make sure that it's tightened.
Yeah.
That's what I think they're saying.
I think yeah.
When the helicopter is flying, please ensure the afterbody do not swing excessiveness. Result in the helicopter loses equilibrium, affect the flight.
It would do.
What I like is their confidence, right? You know, they are so confident that, you know, they don't need to run this past an English speaker.
Yeah.
They don't need to get this. They don't need to get this proofread. You know, they are so. You know, this is going to turn out fantastically, and there's no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah.
Full marks for.
Yeah.
Optimism.
Certification. I can't even pronounce that. Certification. Yeah. Washing usage. Put knitted swirler into cold water to be aoked. To be aoked. Yeah, entirely before into washing machine for 15 minutes with a temperato wheeler.
Washing machine.
Just let him read it.
Temperato wheeler temperature.
Temperato wheeler temperature. Softly remove the dye stains by hand instead of using brush. Rinse the sweater with fresh water. Then pack it with a towel to get out of water before drying under the sun. When ironing, separate it with a piece of cloth. Make it exposed under the sun, but not very strong, for some time. Then store it after becoming cold, along with some canned shore balls.
Oh, super. Not very strong.
Camphor balls. Yeah. Strong, yeah. But not very strong. That sunshine's pretty strong today.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
And
this is one. This is my favourite one. This is my favourite one. A Japanese translation of How to Ride a Motorcycle from the 60s. Taken from a 1962 Honda motorcycle instruction book, translated by Honda for the American motorcycle rider. Point 1. At the rise of the hand by policeman, stop rapidly. Do not pass him by or otherwise disrespect him. That's reasonable. 2. When a passenger of the foot hooves in sight, tootle the horn trumpet melodiously at first. If he still obstacles your passage, tootle him with vigour and express by word of mouth warning, "Hey, hey." Beware of the wandering horse, that he shall not take fright as you pass. Do not explode the exhaust box at him. Go smoothingly by. Give big space to the festive dog that makes sport in the roadway. Avoid entanglement of dog with wheel spokes. Go soothingly in the grease mud as there lurks the skid demon.
Oh, God.
Press the brake foot as you roll around the corners and save the collapse and tie up.
Oh dear.
Yes. In those conditions, it's safer to use the back brake.
I think we can all agree that those are simply sound principles to live your life by.
I love the tootling the horn trumpet.
Yeah. I think my favourite in that is the lurking of the skid demon.
Yeah.
I have to say the skid demon is pretty competitive. I also like the
Yeah.
festive dog.
Yeah.
The festive
Yeah.
dog is also
The festive
vivid
dog that
image.
making sport in the
Makes
roadway.
sport in the roadway.
The dog and the horn trumpet remind me of a joke I saw on Twitter yesterday, and he says, "I've been teaching my dog to play the trumpet on the London Underground. In an hour, we've gone from barking to tooting."
No, boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but farmers, how often do you explode your exhaust box at people?
Yeah.
I quite often give him a blip of the throttle. That does the job.
I have been known to use the ignition kill switch in the past.
Yes.
Fill the air-
And
fill
the skid
box.
demon is a bugger. Yeah, he's an absolute sod.
The
You want to
first
avoid
one
the skid
doesn't
demon.
say that you can't hit the policeman.
Yeah.
I think that comes in the otherwise disrespect.
And there you go.
Yes.
That's all I have.
Oh,
for today.
thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
That
that was a great lot this time.
Thank
Good.
you.
They're getting worse, but you're getting better.
Here's another
Worse
one
is
for
better.
Yeah.
you. Who's the coolest person in the hospital? The ultrasound guy. Who replaces him when he's away? The hip replacement guy.
Did anyone notice that the Big Blue turned up?
Hello, Big Blue.
Hi, Big
Hello,
Blue.
Big Blue.
Good morning.
Good morning, Blue.
Did you get all that?
Unfortunately, yes, I did.
As long as you haven't encountered the skid demon.
I've been there, and yeah, most of the stuff reads exactly like that.
Yeah.
I particularly enjoyed the one on the high speed boat that tells the peasants not to slaughter and cook their chickens inside the boat.
Well, that also sounds like an important safety tip that I think.
Yeah, I thought it was good advice. Yeah, certainly words to live by.
Yeah, it's weird. It's sometimes these Asian cultures are slightly strange. There was a market in I think, to my knowledge, there may still be a market in Japan for men to buy panties that belong to young women. And it used to be the case that you could actually buy them from vending machines, that you could wander up to a vending machine and you could buy the different styles of panties. But the government decided that this was undesirable. But rather than pass a law against it, they decided to use a law they already had that restricted the sale of antiquities. So the sale of teenage girls' underwear in vending machines was covered by a law governing antiquities, which just seems like a really strange way to do it, rather than just say, no, we're not having that anymore. I don't know. It always struck me as a quaint way to deal with the problem.
It is a bit, but I guess if it worked, but yeah, antiquities. Hardly. Again,
I killed the conversation.
You're
more understandable this time.
You've got quite a talent for that, haven't
you? There is a time delay between everyone talking, Tony. I think
that's true. But I noticed that other people talk and there aren't these yawning, pained silences as everybody goes, well, how am I supposed to respond to that?
How do I follow that? Yeah.
Yes.
The only thing it makes me feel, I'm waiting for the last person to talk, thinking that there's going to be a gap for me to jump in, and then somebody else talks. So how long do I wait in between each gap?
You
Oh,
don't.
well, just boot people.
Yeah.
Yeah, or shout them down like you're supposed to. You're the man in charge.
Okay, shut up.
What is what is power for if you're not going to abuse it?
Yeah.
Surely.
I think we've got time. What is it? So we've been going for an hour, so we've got time for a little quiz. If Pip's got that
Yep.
sorted
Yep.
out.
I'll sit here ready.
Right, the quiz. Let's okay.
This
Let's adjust the
quiz.
window and get the
How
chat
many
open.
questions have you worked out that's an average amount to use?
Well, there's 50 odd here, but some of them I won't be doing.
I think we generally do about 30 odd, don't we? Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah,
A
that's
lot of them I'll not read out.
good
'cause
amount.
And Alan must remember to stop looking at the side chat
Yes.
so that he doesn't end up typing in the wrong damn box again.
Yeah, stick
Correct.
Sorry, we do a quiz and the panelists type their answer into the internal chat. Don't say it.
Alan, make sure you
That
know where your cursor is.
Yeah.
So that the side chat can answer without hearing us. So if you type your answers into the side
And
chat.
don't be biased on the questions this time. I'd like to be able to answer
I
some.
will.
Whose fault is that?
What?
Only Alan did it again. Terry orientated questions.
We had a whole
What
use
use
in
is power if
Australia.
you can't abuse it?
I know you had a whole
So-
quiz on Australian questions. Most of us just sat back and went, "What?"
Whatever.
Next,
Who?
next it'll be a quiz on old useless Vauxhall cars, won't it?
Oh God,
No,
no,
never.
No.
not if Pip's reading the questions. No.
No. I'll do it
Quaint Norfolk practices. 50 questions. There you go.
Okay, everybody. First question. So it's kind of fastest fingers first.
Oh,
Well, I'm just saying for that for Tony. In
Okay.
which country was Auschwitz? Boom.
Oh, I didn't think of those other two countries. So it could be
No
that
name, not
country
an
or
island.
the other country. Yeah, blue.
Well, the correct answer is in there, and the correct answer is out there, Poland. Well
Ah.
done, Dora and Farmer's Boy.
Ah,
I think
I'm
I beat
not co-
Alan by the skin of my teeth.
I'm not copying
That's
Paul's
not true,
answer
that one.
again.
No, I wouldn't.
Austria, that's where Hitler came from.
On which national flag is there an eagle and a snake?
Oh,
Eagle
and a snake.
National flag.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't a clue.
Apple land.
Hang on.
We have a correct answer.
I
in
can't even guess that one.
I take it we don't have much of a lag today then.
No name, I didn't miss yours. Dora appeared first.
No, it doesn't seem to be a big lag.
Online.
No, because Prof Pineapple answered that pretty quickly.
But he might have been answering the
Yes,
first
we
one.
have a correct answer from Hads.
He's not listening. He's not cheating by listening in
Tony.
Discord, is he?
No, I just checked he isn't.
The answer was Mexico.
He's muted and deafened, so he can't be.
No, he can't cheat. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, don't tell the
But I
peanut.
thought, hang on, is he in bloody Discord listening?
Don't tell the peanuts out there how to cheat.
Okay.
Tony, you only get one go, mate.
That was his last
How many-
answer.
how many
Czechoslovakia was my
answers?
answer to the last one.
It
Oh,
was, yeah.
Ah,
okay.
I knew that.
I was just the first person to type into this one, so
Listen to the-
Czechoslovakia was wrong for the last one and Mexico was right for the second one.
Yes. Okay. What group of animals would be in a clouder? CLOWDER.
Hmm.
CL, not CH.
CL. Not a chowder, no.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of when they answered that.
Clouder.
Christ knows. It's gonna be
No,
something.
that would be chowder, Stu.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought, but it Clouder, no. It's gonna be
Clouder.
something stupid.
CLOW. DER. And we have a correct answer in the side chat. Hands again, it's cats.
Oh, okay.
Bollocks. You do not call a group of cats a clouder.
Louder. Apparently you
That's
do.
that's utter gibberish.
Okay. What is a Sam Brown? Amy, I've never had clam chowder. I don't think I fancy it.
Oh,
Alan's
getting specific here.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I went for the quickest answer, but yes, that is
Because it's technically that bit, not the other bit.
Ah, okay.
No, nobody's got it yet. Oh, there we go. Fred Bailey. A belt. Technically, a military belt.
Well, technically, it's the shoulder strap that holds
I'm
the
just
belt up
reading
to
what's
stop
written
it
there.
falling down.
Careful.
it's a belt.
2 names needed this time.
Oh,
Who are the 2 most translated English writers? Just their surnames will do. Nope. Nope. One of you's got one of them.
Oh, somebody's got one right in here. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know, my brain goes dead for names occasionally.
Well, you spelt the surname wrong.
Here's yours. I'm going with my chat, and Fred Bailey was first.
Yeah, but I'm sure they had something to do with music.
Okay, Shakespeare is 1.
mm-hmm.
So half a point for that.
Cool. I'll get half a point. I'll take that.
And Alan can have half a point for Agatha Christie.
Ah,
Shakespeare and Agatha Christie.
So if I'd put
Even though you
Farmer's
misspelled
Shakespeare...
Christie.
I think
Oh, it
you'll
doesn't
find
matter.
that she didn't write nobody.
I knew Shakespeare had to be one of them because he's.
Well, Farmer's misspelled Shakespeare too.
So
Don't go with spelling. We don't bother.
we don't
with
go
that
with
because
spelling.
we'll be here all day.
Tony, I tried to do that before
Oh.
about being pedantic about the spelling, and I got my head chewed off.
Do,
That's
do you know?
okay.
Do you know how many different ways there are to spell Shakespeare, and that's including how many times
Quite a few. Did you know that that's
he
a joke
spelt it?
name?
Next question.
Shakespeare is a joke name.
Okay. Citius Altius Fortius is the motto of what organization?
What's the enthusiast?
Citius Altius Fortius is the motto of what organization?
I could if I know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't know. Don't watch that. Total boredom.
No, not the Mile High Club. Stuart?
I got no idea. I'll just I'll do that one.
Yep, that's correct. And Alan, it's the Olympics.
I was so pissed off when we got the Olympics over here. I was fed up with it before it even started. Well, we had year upon year upon year of, woo, it's the Olympics.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, fuck me, athletics. How boring is that?
I like watching the diving.
No, it's all
I
boring.
do like watching the diving, nothing else. Okay, next question. What is the main ingredient of Lyonnaise sauce? Terry, Boy Scouts says be prepared.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Oh, yeah, I'll go with that too. I don't know.
Main ingredient.
Oh, is it my special dip?
No, I don't think it's a dip.
No.
I can't say I've ever had it.
You remember what my special dip
Okay,
was?
it's a
the other day?
sauce. It's a white sauce, but what's in it?
Ah, it is my special dip.
No, Farmers.
Yeah.
Mippet
it's
knows
not.
what I'm on about.
It's just
I know
like-
exactly what you're on about, and no. Just
Give me 5 minutes. Give me 5 minutes. And I'll knock you some up.
No.
Oh dear.
You're making some dip again, are you?
Farmer,
I
do you
have
want to be
no
left alone in
idea
the
what
rubber
I
room for 5 minutes?
What the hell?
I'll just go on mute.
Yeah, we have a correct answer in the side chat from a huge arse. It's onions.
Oh, I
Oh,
wouldn't have
mate,
thought of
Hugh.
Oh,
that.
well, there you
I
go.
wouldn't have thought of that.
Okay. Who played Miss Marple in 6 films?
That old lady.
No,
Yep.
I could see her, but I'm buggered if I
Okay,
can remember
yeah,
a bloody
me too.
name. No, that's gone.
She was a dame at the end of her life, I think. I always see your answer, Hugh. They just weren't coming up first.
Hugh said you finally saw his answer. Well, you've been missing it for all the other times.
I haven't been missing anything.
No, I don't
I'm
think it's
going
the
with
murder
my
she
chat.
wrote. It's not the murder she wrote person.
No, not the Murder She Wrote person.
Not her.
She didn't play it. She did play her, but not 6 times.
Okay, we have a correct answer.
That's
I'm going to go with Hads because Fred, you just put that and spelled it wrong. It's Margaret Rutherford.
That's the one. I could picture her, I just couldn't remember her name.
Okay, easy.
Angela Lansbury did play her, but not in 6 movies.
No.
From which language does the word alphabet come from?
It's a toss up. But that one does make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I knew that one. I thought it'd be the between what Mippet said and what Paul said.
No,
But-
Alan and Dora are correct. It's Greek alpha, beta, alphabet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all Greek to me.
All Greek to me.
Oh, it's all great.
6-0. What was the no? In the nursery rhyme, what is Friday's child? That's me.
Nursery rhyme.
Or
Never heard
maybe
of
There
that
was a
one.
Beat- there was a Beatles hit that had it all in as well.
Monday's child is
Fair of face,
Tuesday's child is full of
full
grace.
of grace.
Wednesday's child works hard for a living. Thursday's child is something. Friday's child is something.
I don't know.
Only remember it because I was born on a Friday.
I think I was born on a Tuesday.
Time for Google because I have no idea.
Yep.
On-
No and no and no and no and no. I'm telling you, it's me. What? Just think of
Friday's child is a little shit. Is that how it goes?
full of shit.
Oh, I
Nice.
was born on a Wednesday.
Nice guess, Blue. Nice.
Done for the week.
Oh, good try, Terry. I like your answer, but it's not right. Okay.
Considering the
I like Big Blue's
Blue.
answer.
I was
Friday's child is-
cheating. I just
done
copied
for the
Stewie's answer.
Friday's child is loving and giving.
Oh, that doesn't make any rhyme at all.
Saturday's child works hard for a living.
Oh.
Something like that. Okay, sexy. Yes, but 10 points to Fred Bailey. And a pair of glasses. What was the first film made in CinemaScope?
Oh,
CinemaScope.
Yes, Has, that's correct, but you're too slow. No.
Oops. Spelled it wrong, but you know what I mean.
I used to watch it every Easter.
Oh,
The
that
Life
doesn't
of
narrow it
Brian.
I'm always on it.
down. The Life of Brian. Yeah.
I
I should be on it
actually
every.
I watched that the
Isn't
other
that
day.
Easter?
It was hilarious.
Oh, I like it, Blue. Debbie Does Dallas. Or Debbie Dies Dallas?
Debbie Dies
No, I
Dallas.
don't remember. I don't remember what's in that Easter. Huge arse, correct. The robe.
The what?
The
robe.
robe.
Never heard of it.
Sounds like a cupboard.
That was one of them
Jesus' robe.
biblical movies they made in the 50s.
Yeah.
Yeah, what was that
Watch
guy's
out.
name?
Alan Hastiny kind of thing.
Yeah, but there was the
Jeebus.
other guy. Oh,
Jeebus.
it's a different movie. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't ask that one because that's very British. A pearmain is what type of fruit? A pearmain. Robe.
I'll go the easy one. It's either that or... Oh. Alan had to be different.
A little one.
A little one? That could mean a lot of them.
Okay, we have. Do we hang on? Wait to see. Bum, 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 bum. Yes. Hat is correct with apple and farmer's boy is correct.
Whee.
Apple. Pearmain is an apple.
Of course, it's an apple because I named it a pear.
What colour is the bull on an archery target?
I'll go that colour.
Depends. What if it's printed in black and white?
Then it's not an official archery target.
So, still an archery target. What if your printer started to run out of a certain colour and it comes out in the wrong one and it all comes out in magenta or something? Ooh,
I'm not
hello.
even going to get to that.
Looks like my weather forecast was right. I've just looked outside and ye gods, the sky's going dark.
You said you got apple
What?
first.
It's holding that
No,
word.
I'm looking at my chart and my chart has apple. Then Fred, then Hugh.
Yeah, so Hugh, you can't go by your chat. You've got to go by Pip's chat.
And we have a correct answer out in the side chat with Hads gold and Alan got gold.
Yeah, I was going to say, why is black a bad word?
I don't know.
It's not. It's just bloody political correctness gone nuts.
It's
Right.
a perfectly good word for describing something that's, I don't know.
A lack of
Not
colour.
white.
The majority of the area of the monitors that I can see in front of me. That would be a good
So
word
before
for-
colour TVs, we had a white and a not white TV.
Chat cheats. My chat does not cheat. Okay, what was the Rolling Stones' first number one?
Ah!
Uh,
Oh, God.
I don't know.
No.
Hang on, let me have a think. I like a bit Stones. Number
Yeah,
one.
that one could have been it too.
What would have been number
Oh,
one?
that
'Cause
one
this would have
too,
been
Tony.
before I was born.
We're going through all the ones. Okay, was it that one? Was it that one? Or was
the
it
one
that
I
one?
put was the only one that I could remember the name of.
Was that the Stones? Sir? Love that song.
What?
Paint Black.
What I said, yeah, that was
Yeah.
a
Paint
Stone.
the Black is the Stones.
Dora said, hey, we are the monkeys.
Yeah.
And we have a correct answer in the side chat. Huge arse. It's all over now.
Okay.
So,
Congratulations, Hugh.
Yeah, don't say you didn't
see
get
that
called out
that's
this time, Hugh.
The only one that answered correctly.
Yeah.
Okay. Name both rival gangs in West Side Story.
no, I can't. It's crap. I'm just going to listen to a bit of the Stones. Let's remind myself of that song. That was a number one. Do, do, do.
The first number one hit.
Do, do, do. Baby used to stay out all
Both
night
gangs.
long.
Both
Long.
gangs. Jessica in the top.
Do, 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 do. I didn't realise that was a number one.
Guess where I pulled
had to
these
be-
answers from? Where, Hugh?
Gentleman in the chat. I need both names. There we go. Tony, Sharks and Jets, and no name.
It was a
Oh,
number
no,
one
no.
6 years before I was born.
Oh my God. Irish
What?
Tubes.
1964 that came out.
Oh, the year I was born.
Yeah.
1964?
1964 that song came out.
Oh, year after I was born. I'm sorry.
Mm.
Okay. In golf,
Oh.
what do the Americans call an albatross? Because they've got to be bloody different.
Oh, I've heard of that before.
Albatross. Did you get that with wafers?
No.
Gun it on a stick. That's no Monty Python sketch. John Cleese doing the interval at the cinema, and you know the old girl used to come
I
out
need
with a
a
tray
bit
round her
more
neck.
info, Tony.
Didn't know they gave it a different name, to be honest. I mean, not that I
No,
know much
neither
about
did I.
golf, except it's a good walk ruined.
Really? You need more information than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
because that's a thing, and then
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's 2 under par, isn't it?
there you go.
Oh,
Does that mean that Tony's right?
Yeah.
still prefer albatross. Albatross.
Big bloody seagull.
See, look,
Birds.
Hads knows what I'm on about. What flavour is it?
No,
Well, it's seabird
it's a
flavour, isn't
vulture.
it?
Seabird flavour.
Okay, nothing in the side chat.
Black swan.
It's Americans call an albatross a double eagle. Why they couldn't just use albatross, I don't know.
Bloody Yanks.
Exactly. Which classical composer wrote the Hungarian Rhapsody? Which I think our John did the other day, didn't he?
Oh, God almighty. 2 chalk ices, please. No, I've got to gun it on a stick. I don't know.
Yeah, we have a correct answer. Internal chat.
I don't know my classical.
Well, not
music
mine,
well enough for
obviously.
No, not yours. Yep, Hads and Alan Evans are correct with Litz. Franz Liszt.
that. What, as in Brahms and Liszt.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm feeling a bit Brahms.
Not doing that one. That's a very British one. What are ceps, morels, and chanterelles? Hans wants to know, did you get wafers with it?
No, you don't get bloody wafers with it.
How about a chocolate flake?
It's so long since I've watched that scene. I know some of it from memory, but I'd have to find my script book. I've got the script book of every single episode of Monty Python's Flying Circus somewhere.
There we'll go with Hads. Fungi. Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
Farmer's Boy and Hads.
Fun guy to be with.
Which part of his body did Charlie Chaplin insure? No.
Should have been. The Slug Balancing Act.
No.
Your slug balancing act is.
You know exactly where that comes from, don't you?
Of course I do.
Yeah. Good old
Slack bladder.
Slack bladder, yeah. Oh dear.
He was in a
Yes,
silent.
we have it.
He was in silent movies, so I thought my answer fitted.
Do we have a correct answer in here?
What, his mouth?
I
I don't know.
thought I'd seen it in here.
I just went for the obvious.
No, I don't see it in here. Dora is correct. His feet.
Oh.
I thought I'd seen feet in here. Obviously not.
No, we didn't have feet in our internal.
Insured his feet.
Damn, I was thinking of that as well, but I thought it was wrong.
So here's another golf question.
Oh god.
In golf, what would you put in your shag bag?
What?
In golf, what would you put in your shag bag?
Yeah, it's got to be one or the other.
I got one. I got the answer. There you go.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I don't play such a stupid game.
To protect it.
Shag, Dora, shag. Like the bird.
Yeah, what a strange place to put your bird.
It's golf, come on, do some. It's not tea.
Come on, somebody must
is
have
it where
got
you
it.
put your? Is it where you hide your dress sense? Because from what I've seen of golfers, they have no dress sense.
Okay, get him to mip it. It's technically practice balls. But balls will do.
Ah, okay.
They're not
Thank
real
you.
ones yet. They're just practicing to be balls.
I'm not going to do a group of that as a group of animals because they'll just argue with me. Which author created Fu Manchu?
Ooh, blimey.
I'll let you Google that one because I had no idea. Bog says we're a bit short on the thumbs ups. Next question.
Oh, sorry. Oh, God.
Well, what'd you do?
I misspelled his name.
Oh, that doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'd never heard of him, ever.
No, I hadn't either.
No.
Anything in here?
Did
I
he do
read
anything
one
else?
Fu Manchu book, and it was remarkable because the Fu Manchu's evil plan was he wanted to kill Hitler.
Yeah, I'll give it to Tony.
Oh.
It's Satch Romer.
Yeah, I've never heard of him.
Okay.
No, I could have sworn I
One
touched
hang low.
previous question.
Huge ass just made it.
Okay, you can have it, Hugh. Blue, I don't think you're taking this seriously.
It wasn't Wan
I
Hung
think
Lo.
he's taking. I think he's taking it very seriously. He's treating it.
It was written by his cousin, Two Little Wang.
What's that? Who Flung Dun didn't do it? Okay.
No.
What is the pen name of Mrs. Darrell Waters, who has been translated into 128 languages? And it was mentioned before. Nope.
I even spell it right this time.
The name was mentioned before.
In fact, I think it was Alan that typed it in before. Yeah.
Oh.
Mrs. Darrell Waters. Mrs. Stu, Mrs.
And what Hugh just put, what Hugh just put was the name that I was trying to think of before, but
That's
couldn't.
the one. That's the right answer. Huge arse. Enid Blyton.
Oh, damn, I knew who she is.
Would anyone know that? I don't know.
I don't know. Try us and find out.
Okay. Who played the pawnbroker in the film of the same name?
No, okay, don't bother.
Was the name of the film The Pawnbroker?
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a film called The Pawnbroker.
So did I. I know the
When
name.
you said
of the
pawnbroker,
actor.
I thought we was going like Lock, Stock or Snatch or something, but no.
What else would he have been in? Was he in Jaws?
No, I got no idea.
I'm not sure if it's the same guy.
I've never even heard of the film. Fairly certain I've never seen it.
Any wild guesses, Blue?
Pawn. No, it's a different guy, Tony. So I got the wrong film.
You got the wrong guy. Okay.
Yeah.
You said he was in. You said he
Yeah.
might have been in Jaws. That's
No,
the only
it's not
guess I've
him.
got.
That's who I was thinking of, but it's not him. Illustrated Man, I think he was in. God, a long time ago.
Now, I read the book that was based on. Was that Ray Bradbury,
I think so.
The Illustrated Man?
Read it a long, long, long time ago.
Yeah.
Yep, Huge Arse got it.
Oh,
Who is?
oh, him.
Who is? Who?
Rod
Rod
Steiger.
Steiger.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oscar winner, Rod Steiger.
Okay, what was the first manufactured item to be sold on hire purchase?
Mm.
I think Rod Steiger was in the Illustrated Man, was it? Or maybe I've got them.
I don't know. I'll have a look. Here we go. Not the book, the film.
You get HP in a Sherman tank.
I
Well,
wish. I wish.
Farmers would have
The
to.
British.
Actually,
the
no.
British.
I mean, obviously,
The-
if I was going to get a tank on HP, it'd be a Tiger or a
Lend-Lease.
Panther.
The Lend-Lease program.
Was HP, yeah.
Yep.
What was the first manufactured item to be sold on hire purchase?
And yes, you're right. You're right, Pip. Rod Steiger was in the film of The Illustrated
thought
Man.
so. What year was that? Don't tell me.
What year was that? Don't tell
Don't
me.
tell me. No, as soon as I said it, I don't know. It was bloody ages ago.
All right, I won't tell you. But
This
the,
item would be something Mippet and I would use.
No Name keeps missing the questions. What's wrong with you, No Name?
he's not listening. That's what it is.
What was the first manufactured item to be sold on hire purchase?
And yes, the book was a 1951 collection by Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, you're going down the same road as I am, Mippet.
Right
Even though you
road,
answered twice.
let's just say it would make the things that you put in the washing machine.
Ah.
Ah. Well, I know.
So
Well,
she gets a third go.
well,
And the correct answer is out there.
yes,
Yay!
yes, and I'm looking at it now from that person. That's
Yeah.
got a.
Huge ass sewing machine, but
Yeah.
technically a Singer sewing machine.
Huge Ass is absolutely killing us
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
He is
You sure he's not googling anything?
He's googling. A Singer sewing machine in the 1850s.
wow.
If we find out you're cheating here, you look out.
I would never accuse Hugh of cheating. He seems like a very intellectually honest individual. He would not.
Together. That's all it is.
Yeah, someone you haven't met yet again.
He seems at least as intellectually honest as Pip does. So.
Gold.
High praise indeed.
In France, if you were served le mets, what would you eat?
Could you spell that, please?
Oh no, you're not allowed to Google.
L-E
Yep.
M-I-E-L. May.
Le Mille.
Le mets.
Okay.
I could give it in Greek.
Can you give it in Greek?
Yes, Melly.
Okay. Well, that's good because I don't have any idea.
What, like
Studied
Roger
high
Melly?
school French, but yeah.
Roger Melly, the man on the telly. Bollocks.
Oh God, I remember Roger Melly, the man on the telly.
I used to have that T-shirt, and it just said "Roger says bollocks."
Yes, Had's got it. Honey.
Oh,
Oh,
is that what it means?
Melly
there
is
you
Greek
are.
for honey from Melissa. Melissa means bee.
Yes, the English word mellifluous,
Yeah.
as in Pip's mellifluous voice.
I droop like honey.
Oh well.
Okay, a Greek one now. The Greek for circle of animals gives its name to what?
Circle of animals.
I agree with farmers.
Yeah, I agree with
It's just,
farmer.
it's just a guess that I pulled out of thin air.
Well, you're wrong.
There you go.
Oh, you're wrong.
Wouldn't
So
agree
you should
with
have
me.
Oh,
waited.
now that I think about it.
No,
now
you
that I
can't
think
change your
about it,
mind.
that's-
Sorry.
It is out in the side chat.
Oh, yes, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Had was correct. Zodiac.
Mm.
Ah, okay.
No, I went for the wrong one to cheat.
And on,
I would never have gotten that.
and on to
Yeah, but when you see it, you think, oh, yeah, that does make some sort of sense.
No,
'Cause they
no,
always show it as a circle, don't they?
they may do, but
They certainly
I
used
don't
to.
think of Dyak as Zoe is animal, but I don't think of Dyak as having to do with circles.
I thought
wouldn't know, I
Zodiac
don't
was
know
things
the
that
Greek.
you blew up and you put a motor on the back of it and it went in the water.
No, that's a boat.
who was the Roman god of agriculture?
Bloody hell. I'd phone me dad, but he wouldn't bloody know. Tell you that now.
Yeah,
So you phone your friend that can help then.
No.
good clue. It's a planet. So it's the other planet.
All right, let's work through the planets.
Oh, it wasn't my answer. Okay.
No. Lapidus. Don't know
Yeah,
that.
Lapidus.
Lapidus.
It's feed us, as in
Yeah.
feed us.
Yes,
Ah.
you got it.
Ah, right. Okay. I'm with you. Sorry. A bit slow. No name. Correct. Saturn.
Hey.
Okay.
Nippet was the first in here. Well done.
Yay!
What is Ikebana?
Oh God, I know what that is.
Oh, me. Oh, here.
Sorry, did you say Ikebana?
Yes, you're correct.
Ah, I thought you said Cabana.
Yeah,
Ikebana.
so did I.
So did
Yeah.
I.
Oh,
Ikebana.
cabana's a type of sausage, isn't it?
No, I
Sausage
think
No,
is
I
we
think
can't. We
It's
cannot
you've
just
confirm
got a
nor deny
sausage
your verbal answer, Mippet.
Japanese. Ikebana.
We didn't hear the E. Sorry.
Aye.
Well, I heard it as one word as well when you said it.
Ikebana.
Well, it is.
I thought you said, what is a cabana?
I know. What is
Yeah, Ikebana.
Hey ho.
You expect Scottish people to pronounce words?
Well, they do pronounce words.
They, as I was saying earlier, the Scottish people speak English more accurately than we do.
You've never listened to Dell then?
Yeah, you never
You
listen
want
to
to
Dell.
get a spanner. You know, in secretary, we need someone who speaks English. Spanner.
What? Like
Anthony's
what
the only
I
one that
does?
got it correct. It's just flower arranging. We're not having any of this nonsense. Okay. What nationality was Morse, the inventor of the code?
Inventor of what?
The code.
You're not going to believe this,
Yeah.
but I was for a period married to one of his descendants.
Ah, cool.
Oh, the storm will be here then.
Oh, we've had it.
Well, I've got some rain, but what I've actually got is lots and lots of thunder. I thought it was the guys doing the bins, but they've been and gone. Great. Now I've got to wait for it to stop raining so I can go and bring the bins in.
Yep, first correct answer in the side chat is Hards again, who's doing very well. And in here, Tony, American.
We're all living in America.
Goa used to be a colony of which nation?
Blimey. You dredged them up today,
I
didn't
was
you, girl?
going to bring that up earlier, actually.
Yeah, I was just going to say it was mentioned a lot in the navigation things we were looking at.
Well, then it must be.
It is indeedly. Think back to the navigating thing. There you go. Huge arse. Well done, Portugal. Antonian here. Where are we? No.
Blimey, it's getting that bad. I've got to put the light on.
What does a galactophagist drink? Galactophagist.
Pangalactic gargle blasters.
What, like being smacked across the back of the head by a blancmange that's been stapled to a cricket bat?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Irish stew and Paul.
Oh,
Milk.
bloody hell. Here it comes.
Do you want a Bible question?
No, not really.
Okay.
Unless the answer's
Sure.
bollocks. What is the Bible? Bollocks.
Oh,
A comic.
this
Not a
is.
very good
No
one.
pictures.
No, it's definitely not a comic.
No.
If we're little flirty
No
still in there, we could ask the Bible question. Okay. In the 18th century, what would a pencil be?
A pencil.
In the 18th century, what would a pencil be? And it's not a pencil.
I don't know then.
No?
I got a guess, but I'm not sure that it's right.
I've never heard of this in my life. Well, I've heard of the thing, but. Hello, Professor Phil.
Hello, Prof.
Nothing to do with writing at all.
Okay.
Pencil. No, I don't know.
Okay, no one's going to get it. So it says here it was a brush.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Um,
Well, I'm learning something, so I'm grateful for that.
yeah.
Agrippa poisoned her husband stroke uncle. Who was he?
Oh. No, I can't remember. Oh, was it?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Phil. We have a professor in the chat.
We do indeed.
And a Professor Pineapple too.
Yeah, but he's not a real professor. Whereas the professor is a professor.
No name. You'll
He's a real
find that
pineapple.
Agrippa was in the question.
Giant haystacks. Cool, that takes me back. Gee, hell.
Yes, Hans got it, and Tony got it. It's Claudius. Claudius.
Oh.
Caligula was stabbed to death by his bodyguard.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, never mind. Sorry, I just because I had to plug my phone in to charge up, and I picked it up. I noticed I had a new photo gone up from my son-in-law and a new photo gone up from my daughter, and they're both of my grandsons. So I kind of stopped paying attention.
That's fair.
Okay.
Okay,
That's fair enough. Yep.
Yeah.
4.5 months old, and he's sitting up on the grass outside playing.
Nice.
But yeah, 4.5 months old and sitting up independently.
Mm-hmm. Yes, very much.
It's a little early, but you know, let's not complain.
Nothing bad about rapid physical development.
Okay, who did Walter Koenig play in Star Trek?
Oh.
He was.
Walter Koenig.
Oh, easy. That's easy.
Fucking Facebook making loud noises at you. Shit, that scared the crap out of me. Bloody phone.
Yeah, we'll go with
Yeah,
Dora. It's
that's it.
weird spelling. And Tony Chekhov, Ensign Chekhov.
Oh, of course, it was Chekhov. Yeah. No, it was one or the other.
Who had a hit with Devil Woman?
Oh dear.
She's just a devil woman.
I'm embarrassed that I know the answer. Bollocks. I remember it being in the charts.
Yeah, so do I.
Let's have a look and see what year it was.
Got 5 left, Terry.
Oh my lord.
Okay.
1982?
No.
79?
Keep going.
78?
76.
Cannot
That was
possibly
the
be
year
that
of the-
old.
The
Released in
hit wave.
1976. Jesus.
I
man.
wasn't even in high
The
school.
hell was- What the hell was wrong with Professor Phil's post he just put up there? Huge ass pretty much destroys Nathan Oakley's diffraction bullshit. And that was held for inappropriate language?
I don't know. Bullshit, probably. I thought you meant I deleted it there. Okay, so the
Yeah, they
answer
might. They might not know what diffraction is.
First one here, Farmer's Boy, and out there was Irish Stew, Cliff Richard.
On the album I'm Nearly Famous.
Nathan
was
Oakley
1976.
still doesn't know what diffraction is.
No.
Cliff
He still-
Richard is
He still doesn't know what an egg is. Or are you talking about Nathan Oakley? Oh, sorry.
20 days older than my father, Cliff Richard.
All right.
What were the first false teeth made from?
Oh. I'll try that one.
Nope.
I reckon it's that one.
Who
okay.
beat me?
Not what I've got, anyway.
Okay.
Mippet beat me.
No. Well, Alan, technically,
How about that one then?
no. Alan's kind of, sort of, and Blue's kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Not wood. Tony's bang on.
I heard an American president of some description had wooden teeth.
Washington apparently had wooden teeth.
They reckon that could be an urban myth.
Oh, okay.
It could
No
be.
name
But
and Tony Ivory.
Mm.
Okay.
No, I was going to say, I'm sure I've read of people pulling the teeth out of dead bodies because they use it for making false teeth.
well, it used to be a wedding gift that they'd give to people was to have their teeth pulled out and turned into a set of false teeth.
Lovely.
Mm.
Okay. The jealous Athena turned who into a spider? Think about it. Think about it. Think about it.
Bloody
Make
hell.
sense. Boom. Oh, thunder.
Oh, yes. Do you know what? I'm impressed. My weather app said I'd get a thunderstorm at 2 o'clock. And this thunder did indeed start about 2 o'clock.
Yeah, it's 10 past 2 here. Yes, no name, and Tony Arachne. What was the first Carry On film?
Blimey.
Nope. Nope.
No, Terry, but it was one of the best.
I don't know.
Yes, given the overwhelming spectrum of quality that was spanned by this venerable cinematic institution.
The correct answer is in the side chat. Anyone want to guess from there? Oh, we can say it.
No, I can't answer twice, so I can't do anymore.
Oh, I don't care. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Like that one.
Carry
No.
On, Sergeant.
Yeah, but Carry On Up the Khyber was another brilliant one.
Oh,
of
that was one of the
Yeah.
best ones, but that was
That was a
much
good one.
later. That one wasn't it?
That was that late 60s or early 70s? That was even, it might have been through into the 70s even. Because I mean they ran from the mid 50s through to the mid 70s, didn't they?
Hang on, let me have a
Film
look.
every couple of years, I think.
Carry On filmography. Carry On Up the Khyber was, where is it? 1968.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, late 60s.
Yeah.
So when did they start the series?
Right, Carry On Sergeant was 1958.
Okay. A couple of years later than I thought.
At what point?
And when was the last one?
Carry On Columbus, which was 1992.
Oh. I don't think they did many during the 80s, though, did they?
No, they stopped Carry On Emmanuel in 1978, and then the last one, Carry On Columbus, in 92. So they skipped the 80s completely.
Yeah,
I think
they
because
did.
by then most of the people who'd been in the films were either dead or bloody close to it.
Yeah.
And then Carry On Columbus was almost like a complete reboot. And I think the plan was that it would be a reboot and they'd do lots more films, but it was crap.
It didn't work. It was great. Well, they did it as because it was the 500th anniversary of Columbus's voyage, wasn't it?
I think so, yeah. But
Yeah, Doris says for the 500-year anniversary. Okay, second last question. Who was the female lead in The Shootist?
Lucky you've picked some bloody awful questions today, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You'll know her.
Yeah.
God. Because she is so famous and she appeared in other films with him.
Oh, I just saw the lightning.
Did you say lightning?
Mm-hmm.
There was just
We're
lightning.
getting lightning.
And there's the thunder.
I don't think Tony's ever heard me say about lightning,
gosh.
has he?
Did you mention the
No,
lightning?
Was there lightning, Terry?
Nobody's got it yet.
Oh, I'm having aphasia.
Dar's just got it.
Yes, that's the one. Well done, Big Blue. That's the
Hugh.
one.
Nope.
No, it's
Lauren
not.
McCall.
Really?
Nope. Lauren McCall.
Lauren Bacall? Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
under a misapprehension then. Okay.
I've
well, there
I've
you
heard of her, but
You got a
What?
Mandela effect going.
Mandela. Mandela.
Yeah.
go. No, I think I'm just half senile. That would be.
yes, colon. I am indeed having thunder today. That storm that was forecast is very close.
Okay, this last question is also a literary or a film, either
Ooh.
or. What was the name of Captain Ahab's ship?
I actually read the book. I ought to bloody know.
Call me Ishmael.
Don't be a dick.
And yes, Professor Phil, the PC Brigade would never allow Sid James these days.
No. Oh, what was his ship called? Is it? I really don't know about the spelling, but is it something like that?
Yep.
Whew.
Yeah.
I redeemed myself right at the end.
Irish Stew and Farmers. Well done. It's the Pequod.
The
Oh
good
dear,
ship
that's-
lollipop.
That's the good ship.
And that is
YouTube is incredible today for the words it suddenly decided to block.
Oh dear, I really haven't done very well today. There's been some howler of questions.
Say out in the side chat, Hans is our overall winner today.
Really? I thought Huge Ass was
No.
romping it in. Okay.
Oh, it's piddling it down.
He came up the rear, but didn't quite get him.
Aha! She asked for a double entendre, so I gave her one. Oh dear, I really that's an awful innings today. Never mind.
I'm
Could have
done,
been
Terry.
worse.
Well, thank you, Pip.
Thank you, Pip.
So we collected
Thank
all
you,
the
Pip.
score.
And yes, Miro, that was the whale, wasn't it?
Thank you.
Yes,
Colin,
Moby
you
Dick
gave
was the whale.
Colin gave me a really good video to play, but it does go for a little bit too long. I'll leave it over in any other vids. A little bit long. Now I can reduce the amount of videos we watch to finish off with by working out a voting thing, maybe somehow.
Night, Hugh.
Night, Hugh.
Oh, okay,
See
Hugh.
you.
Is it your bedtime? Beauty
Hi,
sleep.
Hugh.
Yeah, I know. Look at the time. It's 11:20 here.
You're a harsh, unwelcoming group.
I still got a cake to bake. Come on, hurry up.
I keep looking at the live thing, thinking we're going for that amount of time, but I forgot the first bit that we are going. So.
Yeah, we've been going 4 hours. I
Oh,
think.
Hey,
shit.
I don't need to wash my car now because it's pissing it down.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to reduce the videos down.
Actually, that's quite useful because I was trying to do some weeding in the garden yesterday and I couldn't
Okay.
because it was like concrete. But now with the rain, it might just soften it up enough.
Now,
Depends how heavily it rains.
got a
It's
choice between.
slinging it down at the
Oh,
moment.
wow.
If it slings
Right,
it down,
well,
then it might just wash away a top layer and not really penetrate that much into
No,
it.
I know, but we've had so little rain over the last few weeks.
I've got a creaky
Ah,
blinder
yeah.
and a Mr. Sensitive to pick from, and
Absolutely
one other
roasting
person.
it.
So I've got to.
And
I can
maybe
really
the
do with
Pip-
it
Pip
not
story?
raining.
Yes, I do have a Pip story, but I want to play at least this one. I'll show you internally so you can see it without the peanut gallery showing it. I want to play that one,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but I've got that one
Mhm.
or that one with that guy. So it's either that guy
Okay.
or
Oh, no, that's
or that
hilarious.
guy.
The creaky one. Yeah, the
Yeah.
creaky one.
So the Mr. Sensible one is very dry.
Yeah, the creaky one. Hilarious.
Yeah,
You
I'd
want
go
the
with the
creaky
creaky
one
one.
is-
Go the
Yeah.
creaky.
Mickey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Mr.
so-
Sensible one is a very straightforward and non-humorous reply. So
Okay.
He was try-
Sorry,
He
Mr.
was being
Sensitive, but
mysterious.
you've been ruled
He's
out.
being serious.
Okay. Well, I'll get a vote between A and B.
no name. The best submarine movie is Das Boot. Without a doubt. And it has to be in the
It's up
original
against
German
some-
with subtitles.
It's up against some pretty stiff competition.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Yellow
You
Submarine. There's
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You need the
Silent
full
Run Deep.
Oh,
uncut
Dory, you
German
only just
version
got in.
that I think is 306 minutes long. And I have the German. I have a copy of the German Blu-ray. So
right.
it's just about my favourite. It's my favourite.
Can
submarine,
somebody
probably
watch
my
the
favourite
watch the?
thing ever.
Can somebody
We've
watch
got
the vote?
3 A's, Terry.
Oh shit!
we've
I was
got 3
hoping.
A's.
I was hoping to get a cup before that happened.
No, you've got no. 1A was before. Now
Yeah, according to me, Dora was before now.
you got 2 A's.
Yeah, I've got
Okay,
Dora
so-
after now on my side.
Oh, well. Good count there. A wins.
Well, you're in charge.
Aye.
So
No, you got the. You made it on my side, Dora. So you're lucky.
Yes, Sable Eagle. Exactly. I've got
Did
the full
Terry play
uncut
the
German
Fight the Flat
Blu-ray.
Earth about JM?
It was
that's
quite
quite
long.
long.
It
Oh,
was
that-
long, but
yeah.
my God, it was good.
No, we did a MC Toon one with there. If I'd have known about that one, we could have done that one.
It's 36 minutes.
I watched it in the middle of the bloody night last night.
Okay, A wins.
Press play, please, Terry.
Yeah. Nag.
Nag.
Yeah, that's me. Thank you.
She said please.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You don't know Mippet like we know her.
Have you put it out to the... Oh, yeah, you have to put it out to the...
This is the one thing we have to our advantage. This is why I continually point out that we have been out here proving the globe doesn't exist for 5 years.
Globe doesn't exist, eh? Bold claim, Mr. Pratt.
We have had globe propagandists for 5 years straight fighting this supposedly crazy, absurd claim. Again, people don't fight things they're not threatened by.
Have I just been got by Daniel Pratt? No, of course I haven't, because I don't fight flat earthers. I just make fun of them.
Go nuts on my nuts.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Playing the Blinder with me, the Creaky Blinder. Now first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody that's come across from the Simon Dan channel and apologise in advance because, yeah, we do it very differently.
For 5 years.
Can you not interrupt, Daniel? That's very rude, and I have not been doing this 5 years. It's actually been 2. Today we're going to be taking a look at channel favourite Daniel Pratt and his ramblings because he's always got something to say. Never really makes much sense, but stick around and we'll take a look. Tidy!
Ask anyone that's been around like I have for that entire 5 years, how much money you think has exchanged hands in the flat earth topic, both pro-flat earth and against flat earth.
Probably a lot, but I'm not really sure what that has to do with the shape of the planet we live on.
Some people are making pretty good money.
I'm sure some of them are. Making good money, that is. I'm not one of them, sadly. But the amount of money you make from the content you put on YouTube comes down to how much effort you put into it, how well received it is by your audience, and how honest you are in your content.
There's been a lot of donation money thrown around. I've received some of it myself, nowhere near the money I would need to do what I'm about to show you, okay?
Ooh, exciting. What are you going to do, Daniel? Book a flight to space to prove to yourself that we live on a globe? I wonder if you could book it just one way, maybe.
That would easily end this argument, period.
I've nailed it, haven't I? Daniel Pratt is in communication with Elon Musk. He's going up on the next flight. He has to be. What else could he possibly do to prove to himself, a flat earther, that we live on a globe? Because after all, if you can't see it with your own eyes, how can it possibly be real?
Because it's actual science, okay?
Ooh, do you mean?
The intellectual and practical activity encompassing the structure and study of the natural and physical world through observation and experiment.
Is that what you mean?
I've spoken about it, demanded it, begged for it, pleaded for it.
Oh, right, so we're back to talking about money then.
And still, now think about all of the universities and billions of dollars that are donated and funded to these universities and their science departments, okay?
Well, yeah, science is hugely valued by society because the application of scientific knowledge helps to fulfill many of our basic human needs and living standards. For example, finding a cure for cancer and developing clean energy sources. Both very important, highly valued scientific discoveries.
And then I want you to think about not only why can't we get it done now, but why has it never been done in the past?
Dan, you're going to have to elaborate a little bit. It is not the most descriptive word you could choose. Get to the point.
Well, because once again, it would prove the flat earth.
Wait, so it proves the flat earth. You're going to need to tell us what it is.
And that kind of goes against their whole deception. Okay? But it's really this simple.
Yeah, and if there's anybody who's qualified to demonstrate simple, it's a flat earther.
And it's undeniable. It would provide the very repeatable, verifiable, falsifiable, testable proof that we've been demanding the entire time. Once again, unfortunately for the scientism establishment, it proves the flat earth, not the globe. And here it is.
Okay, allow me to interrupt. I'm a big fan of managing my viewers' expectations. So please don't get your hopes up too much.
All you need to do is take one swimming pool, construct some sort of girder system that can be measured with precision technical equipment to make sure it is within thousandths of an inch tolerance like aircraft are built, okay? Thousandths of an inch.
Really?
This is easily done in today's world, okay? Then have a probe coming down from said girder that can touch in 1 foot increments all the way across the pool. And when the measurements come out within thousandths of an inch, not whatever the curvature formula should demand it displays, it then proves the flat Earth.
Stop a second.
Serious?
Stop a second.
You, of course, need someone genuine and honest to...
Stop. I'm sorry, but I have to point out at this moment that you would need to be using X-rays to measure the curvature across the meter, because the curvature across the meter is 78 nanometers.
Yeah, well, there's another. I mean, this is based on a simple misconception of what liquids are. Liquids adopt a geometry in response to whatever force is applied to them.
Yeah.
Should that be the resistive force of the vessel that they're contained in, or surface tension or wind? So one of my favorite examples in this regard is the way Egyptians used to work out how to make a level floor was by building a brick enclosure, filling it with water, and then pouring ink on the top of it. And that way, then they'd let the water back out and the ink would give them the level that they needed to build to in order to make the floor flat. But you can tell from analysis what direction the wind was blowing in when they did this, because the surface is not actually level because it's responding to all of the forces that are being applied to it. So, you know, there are so many forces that would be being applied to an Olympic-sized pool that you would be unable to distinguish the curvature effect from any of the other impacts that would just make this completely impractical. Sorry, that was a protracted rant again.
Oh dear.
To make sure that the computer system providing the measurements isn't skewed or messed with to provide some imaginary curvature formula as the probe goes along. In other words, every foot it...
Oh, bless. Look how excited he's getting. He actually thinks that experiment, if anybody was stupid enough to do it, would prove that the Earth was flat. How big is this pool, Dan?
Deflects a certain amount to try to... In other words, you'd have to make sure the computer programming wasn't messed with, the coded. Like they steal elections, you know?
Ah, right, so it would only work as long as it was done honestly, like by actual scientists and not flat earthers, you mean?
So, it's that simple, people.
Well, if it's that simple, Mr. Pratt, I'm gonna guess that there's a video on your channel showing that you've already done this simple, undeniable experiment. I'm just gonna hop over to your channel and have a look, and I'll just leave Dan to finish explaining his absolutely groundbreaking experiment to you. I won't be a second.
Take an Olympic-sized pool, erect something to go across it with a precision measuring probe that the second it touches water will set it off. Do one probe, bring it up, let the water completely settle out again, move it a foot, do another probe. What is so hard about that?
Well, I dare say there's nothing that difficult about doing that ridiculous experiment that would prove absolutely nothing. But Daniel, I've got a bone to pick with you. I've just been looking through your channel. You haven't even done the experiment. So what have you got to say about that? Yeah, that's pretty much the response I've come to expect from flat earthers. And Daniel, I've just got one thing to say to you about your experiment. I can see a flaw in it. I know insanity. But the one thing I want to say to you, Daniel, is size. How big would this pool need to be to prove anything? You do realise that the Earth is, well, it's pretty big.
An Olympic-sized pool should have curvature in it.
Okay, so if you take the Earth's circumference in meters, which is 40,750,000 meters, and divide it by 360 degrees, you get 111,319.44444444, lots of fours. Yeah.
Okay, mate, so using this as the circumference of the Earth, what I did...
So don't pay any attention to that. It's a glitch, so I don't know exactly what's going on. I definitely didn't ask Conspiracy Cast to help me with the maths. Now, basically, if you take that 111.31944444 figgity 4...
Is I divided that by 306...
And divided by 50 meters, which is the length of an Olympic swimming pool, you get 0.00045 degrees of the overall circumference of the Earth. So you'd need tens of thousands of those pools to even register any curve. Not one 50-meter pool. Daniel, you stupid boy. And if you plug those numbers into the Earth curve calculator, which again I definitely did myself, the number is so small it doesn't even register any curve. Now, I'm very reliably informed by my super maths brain that you could work that figure out, but maths.
Therefore, there must be measurable curvature in an Olympic-sized swimming pool. It cannot be measured. They damn well know it. So all they can come and do is provide semantical arguments to avoid doing the science that will prove them wrong.
Sorry, Daniel, but I must interject based on the amount of hassle it was just for me to find out that little bit of maths information, which I definitely did all by myself. It just wouldn't be worth them doing, because they already know, based on mathematical maths. Oh, dear me. An Olympic-sized swimming pool doesn't prove anything, you dickhead.
And that's what we've dealt with for 5 years. So you morons can keep trying to come up with your semantical little distractions and diversions from doing actual science like you have for 5 years and think you look brilliant.
Well, I wasn't going to bring it up, Dan, but thanks.
Oh, the astronauts at NASA and their families think about their little feelers. You're calling them liars. Because they are. Sorry, kids of NASA lying astronauts. Your dad's a piece of shit liar that's deceiving humanity. Tough shit. It's called life. Get over it. You were born to a piece of shit lying astronaut.
And that, boys and girls, is what we call projection. Projecting your own feelings of inadequacy onto other, usually much greater people. But thanks for the compliment, Dan. I'm glad you approve of what I do here. Brilliant may be a bit of a stretch, but I certainly do enjoy myself. Don't you just love Dan Pratt? If brains were dynamite, that guy couldn't blow his hat off. Thanks for watching, everybody. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I'm the Creaky Blinder, and I will see you tomorrow night on the Agree to Disagree channel. Don't forget to tune in. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
All right.
The amount of precision measurements to measure something we'll just give it. We'll give the benefit of the doubt. A 50-meter swimming pool.
Hello, Monk.
For the water to be so still that it wouldn't be affected by any movement, for that to be one. I don't know why he's got to use this girder, because even to get a girder to that's length without any deflection in it, That'd be 2. And what sort of measuring device would measure down to that small scales, because that's going down to the nanometers, whatever you call it.
Yeah. It's just a bizarrely impractical experimental design, and I mean, it's
Well, I'm just thinking if you
deranged
could do it. I'm just thinking if you could work out all the impractical things of the beam not bending, the water being that still, that there's no ripples or anything, and the measuring device, and
we have a drunk monkey in the chat.
Yeah, I see the junk monkey. He hasn't dropped in for ages. He probably couldn't find me on my channel because I haven't been streaming.
But he's prattling nonsense. There's absolutely no way that it would work, and it also ignores one of the fundamental. There's a fundamental confusion about this that the only impact on the gravity field is so left to their own devices, the mean upper surface of a liquid should be an equipotential surface under Earth's gravitational field. But Earth's gravitational field actually has a non-trivial geometry. It's not just a circle or an oblate spheroid. So it's not just the curvature effects that you're going to observe over any distance if you're monitoring the upper surface of a liquid. You're going to also be observing whatever's going on with the geoid in that particular location. And at some points it's relatively steep, and at some points it's relatively flat. So it's they keep on ignoring this, even assuming that the accuracy problems could be overcome, which I don't think is in any way feasible for this experimental design. And if it's so easy to do, he can do it himself.
Yeah, well, that just tells you all you need to know. It's not that easy because he hasn't done it himself.
Have you seen his experiments?
Yes, I've seen some of his experiments.
I haven't seen any of his experiments. I did see Dell. I did see Dell's Oompa Loompa cosplay a couple of weeks ago, where he was pouring water into a. Puts you to shame there, Blue.
Well, Daniels are kind of on a par with that. They're kind of on a par with that.
So Daniel wants to build a 50-meter wide structure of some sort that's perfectly flat, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
With no flexure, that has a moving some sort of train carrying some sort of detector that moves along its length, that accurately measures the distance to the from its end to the
from the beam to the surface of the water.
Yeah. I wonder if this nitwit has any idea what he's. No, he doesn't.
No, he
doesn't.
No.
Blue, I was going to say you didn't need to finish the sentence, but you didn't even need to start that sentence.
I doubt you could take a 48-inch wide flange and span 150 feet without the thing having considerable sag in the center, just under its own weight.
It will sag.
Under its own weight.
Yeah, it will definitely sag.
You would have to build the plate girder from hell to go 150 feet like that.
I mean, there's a sort of, so my undergraduate training was as a mathematician, and my youngest brother was trained as an electrician before studying computer science. And it never ceases to amaze me that I will come up with some physical idea, and he will just, well, you can use the engineering to just blow that away. You can just brute force it using engineering. And sort of coming at it from the purely theoretical background that I have, I tend to overlook things like I would overlook things like flexure or under their own weight or that sort of thing, except that people actually have to build stuff. This is perhaps best typified by an exchange between a friend of mine and a builder, saying, the builder saying, well, don't you want the door here? And my friend saying, well, the architect said that couldn't happen. And the builder saying, well, anybody can draw Mickey Mouse, but have you ever tried to build the bugger?
Yep.
So people who actually have to build stuff, put stuff together, which I don't think Daniel has ever had to do, have a much clearer understanding of what can go wrong and what needs to be overcome. And I just think he's coming from a place of complete ignorance about any of these problems.
We used to get 15-meter lengths of 200 by 75 parallel flange channel steel.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like to those who don't know, parallel flange basically means it's like a C shape, a C profile, except it's square, and it's 200 mil deep by 75 mil wide in 15-meter lengths, and in 15-meter lengths they sagged, and we had trouble with one of our suppliers because they when they strapped them down to the back of their lorry. They didn't keep them level, so by the time they got to our factory floor and we sort of got them off the lorry, they'd already pre-bent them,
okay.
Which is not generally what you want when you're building plant rooms and using this as a frame to make the floor of the building. Just 15 meters it will sag. I mean, even if we went up to something like the 210 or the 220 mil, they would still sag. So over 50 meters, bloody hell, you'd have to have a hell of a structure to stop it sagging.
It's sorry, off you go, Blue.
People go off on these crazy fool's errands with silly ideas like pulling string, or a line of some sort of half a mile or some silliness. Not realizing that technically it is impossible to pull a string straight.
Yeah, that's right.
You cannot do it.
No.
That's what in builders for using your plumb line for doing your string levels. You can pull that string really tight for over about 6 meters, 7 meters, maybe. But you've got to check it by sliding your little spirit level along it and just double check to see how you go.
Yeah, I was once part of a team that was we were doing a GPS survey in New Guinea, and we were putting in a new monument at a particular site, and so we were making reference measurements around the locality of the new monument, documenting the site layout so we could detect any deformation in it. And my boss, the guy in charge of the entire mission, like there was this tape that was laid out over 6 meters or something like that from one point to another, and he came along and he picked up the middle of it and just lifted it up to the same level, and he just looked at me and said, "This reduces the error by a factor of 4, because that's something that surveyors are trained in, and they just know off the top of their head, just lifting this thing will reduce the error by a factor of 4 because you're reducing the tension by that much. It's a quadratic equation that you end up with." And again, coming from my theoretical background, this is something I don't know, because making observations and assessing observational error wasn't part of my undergraduate training. It's only something I've become aware of sort of in postgraduate training. But it's actually, I think, one of the most important elements of science is working out what the uncertainties are and the resolution is.
Yep.
Are we on with the last video?
Yes, please.
From this person that's Blue Marble Science. Okay, we'll see what they've got.
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he seems to think that he can do a Cavendish experiment, so we'll see how he's going.
Going to put everybody to sleep now.
No, you're not. You're going to teach people things, Blue.
So I'll just clarify, this is B marble, not D marble, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely B marble.
That is an important distinction to make.
It very much is.
Oh, not half.
I could have gone the rest of the day without hearing that.
I have to say, you have some of the best.
Hello,
theme
everybody.
music
Welcome to Blue Marble Science. This is going to be a quick update on where we stand with the Cavendish experiment.
That wouldn't help, would it? That better?
There we go.
You happy
There
now?
we go.
Any more
Yeah.
complaints?
Yes.
No more complaints?
Press play, please.
Press play. Here we go.
Oh, now the sound's gone. Well done.
Little bit back.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Blue Marble Science. This is going to be a quick update on where we stand with the Cavendish experiment. In the previous video, we went through some of the calculations that we've done to analyze the amount of force that's going to be applied to the torsion beam and to make an estimate of the size of the torsion wire that we can use. And it all seems to be very reasonable. And I showed you a couple of drawings, one of the apparatus and one of the overall experiment. But one part of this didn't get talked about very much, and it's this device up here at the top. Now that's a device that allowed Cavendish to rotate the torsion wire and center the torsion beam inside the enclosure. And it's very important to do that. The clearances inside are very, very tight. Those small masses, if the beam is perfectly centered in the enclosure, can only move about 3/4 of an inch before they contact the walls of the enclosure. So we have to have a way to make fine adjustments to the position of that beam, and that's what that device did. We're not really sure exactly what Cavendish used. It appears he may have used a worm gear drive or something like that, but I decided to look at what some other people have done. And there's a company named Pasco that makes a commercial version of the Cavendish experiment, and they use a device like this. It's just a large wheel and a small wheel with an O-ring connecting the two. So when you turn the small wheel, you move the large wheel very slightly. And this gives you the ability to make a fine adjustment to the position of the wire. Seemed like a good idea to me. You know, a guy once told me to never waste an opportunity to copy something that works. So keeping that in mind, I came up with a device that's very similar to what Pasco did. Here you see the thing mounted on the torsion beam enclosure. Now you may hear me call that enclosure the apparatus or whatever, but that's what I'm talking about. This sealed wooden enclosure that houses the torsion beam. That device looks like this. The torsion wire goes up in a hole in the end of this shaft, and it's secured in place with a set screw. Now the shaft passes through a tube, and that tube has got a bearing at the top and at the bottom. There's a mounting plate, and that allows us to mount this assembly to the torsion beam enclosure. Up at the top, we've got a 3-inch diameter wheel and a 1/4 inch diameter shaft, and those two are connected with an O-ring. So that's essentially all there is to the device. Here's a detail of all the parts it takes to make that thing. So this is what I've been doing for the past couple of weeks, is working on this. It may not be obvious how important this thing is, but this is absolutely critical. We have to have a way to make this adjustment. If we don't, we're not going to have a successful experiment. Now, one of the channel members contacted me some time back and offered his assistance, and it turns out that he is an excellent machinist. He prefers to go by the name Two Left Thumbs, which is a curious name for a machinist, but we'll just call him Lefty. And my good friend Lefty has been busy working on the parts and pieces for this thing. Here are photographs of some of the stuff he's been doing in the last couple of days. So I owe a huge thanks to Two Thumbs Left for his assistance and his consultation in refining this design. But that brings us to one other thing. And that's a shout out to all the people who have been contributing to this effort. Here's a list of the folks who have made monetary donations, and I can't begin to tell you how much I appreciate it. Without you guys, this thing will not happen. And again, a huge shout out to Two Thumbs Left for all his assistance, consultation, and hard work on the torsion wire adjuster. So what comes next? Well, over the next couple of days, my plan is to get down to the lumber yard and acquire the hardwood we need for the apparatus itself. I need to get it here in the shop and let it stabilize for a week or so before I start actually doing any work on it. And in the meantime, what I'm going to be doing is working out the details of the actual joinery required for that enclosure. Some of it's pretty straightforward. Some of it's going to be fairly unique. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. I'll be videotaping a lot of that woodworking activity, and I hope you guys will enjoy watching some of that.
Oh, yes, I will.
So that's the plan for the next couple of weeks, and I'll be getting back with you with periodic updates. In the meantime, hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons. And with that, we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Cool.
Ah, great.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
But that device looks a lot more simpler than the ones we were looking at, Blue, before. Very basic.
Yeah, it's really pretty. It's very basic. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's it's almost awe-inspiring to see the difference in attention to detail between the way you're approaching this and the way Flurfs approach what they regard as experimental work.
What a
like
towing hitch and a couple of weight things and a...
I wasn't going to say that, but yeah.
yeah. Like I have seen footage of somebody attempting, with a couple of kettle weights to try and to try and do what they regard to be an analog to the Cavendish experiment.
That was an interesting thing you did bring up. Sorry, Tony. Blue, you're saying that
that's okay.
We were talking about the mechanism at that top. In all his drawings, is it because the fine detail of his drawings didn't allow for that mechanism, or do you think he might have not really wanted people to see that mechanism or know about it or something? I was wondering about that.
Cavendish?
Yeah, in his drawings, because you said you couldn't really tell what he used.
Oh, I'm sure he had. They had to have had drawings that they made of what they did, but I've just never seen them published, and I've never seen. I don't know that the original device even exists. I don't think it does. I think it was destroyed long ago. Yeah. So really, about all you can do is guess at what he might have been doing. But a worm gear would make sense, and that kind of looks like what he's got up there. I don't know. I mean, but whatever. We just had to come up with something that works. And Pesco's been making these things for 60 years.
Okay.
So they wouldn't keep making it that way. It didn't work.
What gear ratio is it on the wheel?
It's about 24 to 1.
24 to 1. Okay.
So one full revolution of the small wheel would be about 15
degrees. Yeah.
And lock to lock. Oh well, if you go from the maximum rotation of the torsion wire is about 5 degrees. So a third of the rotation, small wheel will move that thing from one side to the other.
Are you going to be able to reach in to do the adjustment on that, or are you going to be able to have something reached out further?
I'll be able to get to it, and I'll be able to reach it.
Yeah.
I wanted to explain why the beam wouldn't work in steel.
Ah,
okay.
Please.
We already figured that one out, Phil.
Oh, okay.
The assumption that Phil doesn't have.
You can have
the
my
assumption.
Take.
Go on,
So
Phil. Give us your rundown.
Intermolecular forces between the atoms of steel there's steel and carbon, iron and carbon. These have a shear, what's called a shear strength. In other words, there's at some place where atoms will shear, beside each other. So the actual force of the actual gravitational force on the bar will actually cause some of this shearing to happen. So it's impossible for you to maintain a steel bar over that kind of length to be dead flat. That would be impossible from a chemistry point of view, let alone from any from the physics of it. It's its own weight, but it's the shears. It's the problems of the molecular. You'd be better off with a very tall piece of aluminium, which has a different kind of structure, of more of a granular structure, more of a rigid structure than steel does. But steel would definitely not be an option. It would definitely sag. It'd be almost like melting in the middle.
Yeah.
Above the neutral axis, the material's in compression, but all that material below the neutral axis is in tension.
Yep.
Yes.
And it just has to sag. It cannot not sag.
Yes, it must sag. So the whole idea of that is just nonsense. It's physics alone would make that whole experiment's just nonsense.
But if you made it thick enough and you had overhanging ends, at least if it's 50 metre long and you had 25 metre overhangs on each end, as well as being thick enough.
I think what Tony said was right. You can brute force engineer just about anything, and so from that point of view, theoretically, probably if you had a wide enough piece of aluminium that doesn't have the same propensity to shear like steel does, then yeah. But then you've got all the other problems. The surface tension of the water alone would prevent you from doing that.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
I mean, aren't you? The deviation that you might expect here is not too much larger than the scale of Brownian motion, right? I mean, it's
it would be okay. So at this level, when you're talking about stuff like measuring something at say at microns, and you're talking about the surface of the water at micron level, you cannot tell where the surface of the water is at that level, at scale. You can't tell where the surface is, because the difference between the surface and just above the surface where it's a gas is just nearly impossible to tell. You could not tell. The surface would wipe out any idea of that sort of experiment working.
Well, it's actually a matter of interest, ran the calculations, and you're looking for a sagittar of about a 20th of a millimetre over that 50 metres. It's just not feasible.
Okay, so if you go out there and you got really good money and bought A-grade glassware, you would be looking at 0.1. So if you can really get really good glassware and get 0.1 of a millimetre, that's just over a centimetre. Just over 1 centimetre, and that's the best you can do is 0.1 of a millimetre. Imagine what how stupidly accurate you'd have to be over 50 metres.
There's another effect that needs to be considered, and that's the gravitational self-attraction of the water.
Absolutely, yes. That can vary. That's going to vary anyway. So it's just the whole thing's just even silly. It's even silly talking about it.
Yeah, there are so many massive sources of error that would just and he can't and the setup would be insanely expensive for an experiment we know ahead of time is utterly moronic in conception.
Well,
You'd be better off finding another experiment and go much, much bigger than that.
Yes, that's right.
This is the one thing flat earthers are so terrible about. They will not take just a few minutes and do a sanity check to see if the experiment even stands a chance of working. Just the simple conversation you guys are having right now is enough to tell you that if you got your damn beam perfect, you still couldn't make it work.
Yeah, that's.
Well, that brings me up to my other question, which is, what has man ever made that is perfectly flat, and it's the longest distance that it's been made?
Yeah. The question is meaningless. I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's a meaningless question. It's like this question of gravity. So I'm actually going to do a video on that sometime soon. So they're saying gravity is not a force. That's the standard thing that's said, and well, that statement alone is really kind of a stupid statement to make, because gravity to have a gravitational field that means anything, you need something with mass in it.
Yep.
So that makes it the force. The fact that you've got the mass inside the gravitational field produces the force. So to say gravity hasn't got a force, well, does it have anything in it? So where in the universe is there any place where there's nothing, where there's nothing in it?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how far you are from a star, there's still a gravitational, there's still gravity, but you may not measure it, but it's still there.
If I hold any object and then I let it go, it goes from being at rest to in motion, which means that it must be subject to a force.
Correct.
That's the denial that there's a force there is simply nonsense. And if I am amazed that they have that. Everybody else is going to be bored by this. I'm amazed that they have the temerity to even bring up, even reference relativity. If you're going to accept that relativity is demonstrated, then you have to believe that Earth is a planet orbiting the sun.
Of course.
Because that's how relativity was validated, was by measuring the curvature of light around the sun during an eclipse in 1919. It's the famous Eddington experiment.
Exactly.
So if you're accepting relativity as a concept that we need to take account of when we're defining gravity, the conversation's over. Earth's already a planet orbiting the sun. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's exactly the argument I make with them too, Tony. Unless you are prepared to throw out Newton's first law, you have got to you cannot get around the fact that a force is acting on an object when you release it. It has to be. If it isn't, you cannot have the acceleration.
Yeah, I saw you trying bravely to walk Brian's logic through this. And then him reconsidering whether or not he accepted Newton's first law.
Yeah, exactly.
But doesn't F equals mg just tell you that anyway? Just right there tells you
right
that.
Off the bat it does. Exactly.
Yeah. Without going any further than that, it tells you that. First of all, mass is not is a scalar. It's not a vector. The other one has to be a vector if force is a vector. Duh.
Yeah. That's right. It's so I worked on code for the Grace satellite mission to calculate the partial derivatives of the satellite orbits with respect to surface mass concentrations, and for all of those we just used the Newtonian law of gravity.
Of course.
That's all we needed for the particular system.
What we do.
It's the difference between that and the relativistic version is utterly negligible for the cases we're dealing with in this particular case.
Actually, we never use any. We would never ever even consider using anything else other than Newton's. It works so damn well. It's the precision X is exactly what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Why else? Why would we waste our time trying to figure out some other way of doing something that, since 1975 we've been doing perfectly well? Right?
Yeah, that's
well. When the difference goes beyond your ability to measure it.
Yeah, we can't measure anything. Exactly.
If all you can do is calculate the difference, but it's so small you couldn't measure it, what's the point?
Yeah,
exactly. What's the point?
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah,
that one minus, the sort of Lorentz, the Lorentz transform multiplier, square root of 1 minus v on c squared. That for c is so large that v on c is just tiny.
It makes it ridiculously tiny. Exactly.
Yeah.
It makes it so tiny, and yet they'll quote this Lorentz formulation without understanding a thing about that, and not realizing the scale of that you're talking about.
Yeah, and it all comes back to how accurate. To me, it all comes back to how accurate are your observations. What's the uncertainty on your observations? And they don't even bother to sort of do even order of magnitude calculations. I saw a level of observer claiming that Newton's law of gravity can't be right because his crane doesn't fall over when he's putting a 12-ton rate on top of a building, and I wrote in the comments, did you run the numbers on what the gravitational force you might expect is? He's gone, I don't care what mathematics says. Well, then how do you know how to interpret your experiment results? Obviously, you came up with an experiment. I have a crane. It's going to put a mass down here. I expect it to fall over. Well, why do you expect that?
Exactly.
Guys, I think we need to press play on the next section of the.
Actually, Tony,
Tony's far too rude to interrupt us.
Yeah, actually,
I
think if we can probably go to a field of donkeys, you and I stand at the gate and yell some physics thing at the donkeys. That's about as useful as talking to the planet Earth.
Possibly more useful. The donkeys might at least stare at us and wonder what we're doing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I see Terry's taken that executive decision.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, can you all shut up so we can watch Pip now?
Yep. Sorry.
That's okay.
Apologies.
All right. What, does Terry not read the side chat? Why did I miss Mad? Did I miss something?
You missed Mad moaning about us chatting about what we were chatting about.
No, he said something up here. CERT is the longest device.
Okay.
I have no idea
Sorry,
what
Mad.
CERT is.
Longest flat thing or something you were talking about earlier. I don't know.
Sometimes I've got to check to make sure my mic's on. Press play.
Thanks, Terry.
Ride me. Ride me now and ride me hard, in the park or in the yard. Ride me rough, you won't hurt me. Take me out and ride me dirty. Ride me backwards, I don't care. Ride me up and down the stairs. Ride me ragged with all your might. Ride me day and ride me night. If you see me start to slump, flip me over and pump, pump, pump. Ride me low or ride me high. Oil me up, don't ride me dry. Ride me now, don't dilly-dally. You can ride me up the alley. You can ride me when you like. Ride me now, 'cause I'm a bike.
Well, we knew that in the first place, didn't we?
Short one.
Short and sweet.
That was a short ride, yeah. Oh, there you go.
Thank
That
you.
seems to be a lot for the week.
That's a work of genius, Pip.
Oh, I didn't write that one. It was a subscriber sent it to me.
Yeah, okay.
But you read it so well.
Yes,
you did.
Fridays is all written by moi.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Indeed.
Well, I'm about to make another new video, so I'll catch you guys soon.
Righto, Phil.
Well,
we're finishing up
Lovely
here
to
anyway.
catch up with you, Phil.
No worries. You too.
Bye, Phil.
Take care.
Bye,
See you,
Phil.
Phil.
Bye, Phil.
Bye, Phil.
Bye, Phil.
Are you muted, Terry?
Yeah. Just finishing up here.
You've still got your exasperated flurfer avatar there, Pip.
Yeah, that's Picard. Face palm.
Kind of rude to have that up during marbles.
I know. Sorry, Blue. Sorry, Blue.
Well, it's okay.
I'll put my pride one back up.
A bit passive aggressive, I have to say.
Me? Never. Not me.
Not little old me.
But it has been lovely being on and dominating the conversation and then killing it every now and again. It's been
Well,
a roller coaster ride.
We all have particular talents.
Yes.
Yeah, me and Farmer seem to end up talking about tanks or aeroplanes. And
Yeah,
stuff.
funny that, eh? Yeah.
I just nag.
We can always talk about cars.
Nag.
Okay
What
then.
mine?
Who have I got? How'd you end up there?
Sometimes-
At the top. Usually Alan's up there.
Sometimes I think Terry ought to employ Mippet to keep us all under control.
Yeah, righto.
I'll do it for free, Alan.
Oh, yes, please.
I can nag for free, not a problem. Keep you all in line. I've got a whip.
As long as I don't have to pay for it.
No, it'll be a pleasure to whip you all into shape.
Uh-oh.
Keep talking, keep talking.
And the shape is going to be a sphere.
Look, I'm trying to finish up here and you want to keep talking. Okay.
Did we solve the mystery of who that is?
Yes.
The elderly.
Oh, the elderly, the old fart there. No.
Yeah.
Hmm?
No, not you, Blue. The Japanese guru guy.
No. He's the dude that gravity
Gravity guru.
Don't know who it is. I wouldn't have a clue.
Well, he looks old.
I'm going to guess it's
19th
an
18th
Astronomer
century.
Royal. I'm going to guess early 19th century.
No, well before that.
18th century.
Oh, really?
18th century.
I was going to guess 17th century, but
A bloody name, not what century.
well, I've got a clue about the name. I just sort of think looking at the painting, I would have said 1600s.
His surname starts with a V.
A B for boy.
Vas, eh?
Bob.
Not Voltaire.
What's his first name?
Bob.
Oh, V? I thought you said B.
No, I should know.
Yeah, it is Voltaire, but what's his first name? Anyone know?
No.
Monsieur.
Mr. Voltaire. I like, that.
Ampere?
His first name starts with an A.
Ampere Voltaire.
No.
Ampere Voltaire.
Voltaire was his nom de plume, I'm reading here. His real name was Francois Marie Arouet.
Oh, really?
Oh.
No, it was
Yes,
really
known
Bob
by-
Smith, but
Known by his nom de plume, Voltaire.
Oh, Tony.
Alessandro Voltaire.
Okay.
That's a different Voltaire.
Francois Marie Arouet, known by his nom de plume,
Okay.
Voltaire.
Oh, well, thanks, Mippet. Thanks, Farmer. Thanks, Pip. Thanks, Gravity Guru. Thanks, Peter's been asleep or whatever. I don't know. He's been AFK. Thanks, Tony. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Big Blue.
Thank you.
Who did we
Thank
have
you,
in the
Terry.
Peanuts? Dora, Phil,
Thanks, Terry.
Fred, Mad Mirror, Dora. Oh, scroll up. Professor Pineapple, Ivan, Colin. Thank God it's flat. Fred, Carl, Pippet. Oh, Pie Parrot. Sorry. Who else did we have out there? Sabeagle. Oh, I've got to scroll up a bit. Oh, Demon Orb. If I've missed a few, sorry. Okay then. Good night, Peanuts.
Yep, night, Amy.
Good night, Peanut.
Good night, Peanuts.
Night, Peanuts.
Night,
Night,
Peanut.
Peanut.